What? Yes.
Hey, hi everybody. That's how they make new planes.
Hi.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I decided to go back in time a little bit.
Ah, you got feet.
They're convenient. They
Ah,
help me get from A to B when I'm not a
yeah.
car.
Hey, King Dragon Boy.
Hey, King Dragon Boy. How you like my new look?
Big
Uh,
old feet. Those come in handy when it's like really like soft ground and stuff.
what feet?
Yeah, big feet.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. How you doing, Dragon Boy? Uh, Nice of you to show up. We a little short-handed today, at
Yep.
least for a while. Our friend Putt, he's not doing well. As in, he needs our prayers. Not doing well. Um,
Yeah. Oh, the Avatar King? Yeah.
oh
Oh,
yeah,
3.0.
very cool. I'll have to do it. I don't know if I can do it now. If I click on things, then I start. Everything goes haywire on my end. So I'm kind
Yeah.
of running this. Upgraded to 3.0.
Nice.
Is that like your avatar you're talking about? Uh, well, let me see if I can click on it. Afraid
Yeah.
of.
Block out like that dumb thing.
There, I got it loaded in the new thing browser.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, welcome to BabbleGab. We're kind of babbling, but not gabbing. Oh, very cool. Looks good. Like that. What have you been up to? You've got a Wicked DWCC edition. What is that? Is it like the movie or the play? Uh, I haven't seen it. I like the Wizard of Oz. I'm a purist. I like the first, just the movie.
Yeah.
I do have the books or a couple of the books. I just never read them.
Oh yeah.
Frank L. Baum or whatever the books. But I do like the cover art on them because they show like the way the people look to the characters. Like the Cowardly Lion
Ah.
didn't look he kind of looked dumb in the movie, but like in the cover art of the book, he actually is like an anthro lion, kind of cool looking.
Ah, yeah.
He's skinnier, and just actually looks like more like something you'd see on a cereal box cover or something. Uh,
Right.
so,
Well, I
um,
was thinking the movie they wanted to have the tie between, Dorothy's actual family and friends and the characters in Oz.
yeah, they interviewing the Tin Man character, and he said it wasn't a fun time. There was a it was one of those things where nothing went right on set. It was they said it was so hot on set,
Yeah.
and I imagine the wet having to wear those costumes just made it so much worse. Then you had the accidents, that hurt the people that played the witches and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I dig it, King Dragon Boy. That's really cool. Uh, I'm just trying to make. I'm making as many of these cartoon avatars as I can while I have my free trial, and
Yeah.
I have to learn how to use all that stuff again because it'd been years since I did any of this stuff. My subscription expired. They wanted so much money, I just let it expire.
Oh, yeah.
I hate
They
renting
would shoot
software.
themselves in the foot that way. They just, oh, use our super duper new thing, and then they make it so expensive you don't want to.
Yeah, in this program, I They have not. I've had this program since 9 years now, and
Ah.
there's not one improvement. It's like the glitches and the things that I've had to deal with 9 years ago, I still deal with today. It's like, shoot, if I'm gonna be renting software, which I totally don't want it, I'm against anyway. If I'm gonna do it, it better every month I better have some new spanking cool features.
Yeah.
Anyway, so much for that depressing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
How was your week, everybody? As in everybody, I guess King Dragon Boy and Tony.
Oh, who's that? Oh, me. Oh, ah, interesting. Oh, yeah. Um, let's see. This is kind of my weekend because I work Saturday and Sunday, but got the brakes squared away on my bike. I got new pads on the brakes, and it actually stops, and that's always a good thing.
I pictured you under the Brady carport fixing the bike like they did.
Yeah, yeah, it's more of a hallway.
So, King Dragon Boy, if you stick around, I am trying to. I'm starting a new Transforama video.
Ah,
Um, Now your thing with Rob and the harpsichord gift and all that. That is on the list, but right now I kind of want to make a thinking of making a smaller one. But I would like to get Rob involved. Everybody keeps wanting Rob,
yeah.
or should I say they keep want they're tired of just all the women coming stuff. So I thought Rob would. I had an idea of get this to see if this is interesting or not.
Hmm.
It's an idea I've kind of wanted to do for a long time. Uh, so I guess Rob is wanting to try some like shorts or something on Terry that can expand being transformed or whatever.
Ah,
And so it's like Terry's finally his chance to become something cool, like a car or something like that. So he's all about it. But the shorts ricochet the beam and it hits Tracy and Rob. And
ah,
I thought it would be cool if each of them become half of something. Uh, like she becomes like her front half is a like a C5 Corvette,
ah.
but her bottom half, her butt and her legs are still kind of human like.
Right.
But she's kind of on her knees, so she's like perked in the air and the nose down kind of thing.
Ah,
And I
okay.
was thinking Rob could be the opposite. He could be where his head and kind of torso and arms are human, but his back might be like a car or something. Maybe the same
Ah,
car. Uh,
yeah.
but there's also so basically he's trying to tell Terry how to undo it, and when he does, she becomes the full car. And I thought Rob would almost revert back, but maybe he's because my people they become tall, they become like 15 feet tall before they become the car, just because they. So I
Ah,
thought he could just be like this 15-foot metal Rob. Uh,
ah,
so that was one option. The other option, another option I was thinking of is maybe he doesn't become half car. Maybe he becomes his back half becomes like a ATV or motorcycle. And if that was the case, at the end, when she becomes the full car, he could become a full motorcycle or ATV.
hmm.
I'm
Because I
not
was
up to
thinking
the stage of what.
having them both be the same car because it's the same thing. It just bounced off and split into the
So you
two of
think
them.
that'll work better? He's like the back half the car. Okay,
Yeah, because
it makes
it's
and
like
your
one
reaction was better
transformation,
with
but
the yeah
spread over two.
yeah. I thought your reaction was better with the first one. Um, yeah, that's an idea. Uh,
Mhm.
and I'm not sure what a punchline. Maybe we got a whole show to go over. You know
I mean,
what the punchline because that's technically him being a 15-foot tall metal Rob isn't really a punchline. I like to have some humor going on. But yeah, King Dragon Boy, he's got a request. I can't wait to do it. It's just where King Dragon Boy, he's kind of like the Queen of Space. He's got his own kind of galaxy or his own thing going on in space.
mhm.
And he wanted to send us a magic harpsichord as a gift. And that's what
Ah,
Rob plays. That's his main instrument. So I thought that if maybe Rob would play it, he could become this like a dragon of some kind. Um, and of course, it would be he would be just smashing everything with his tail. That just because he's not used to that kind of thing.
Right.
But neither am I, so I'm not used to making Rob into something really. What do you call it? Actually, this baby dinosaur was one I kind of designed for Rob. I think he'd look good as a little baby dinosaur.
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't make these avatars for me first. I probably should, it kind of takes away the sport. Nobody watches this shit anyway, so who cares? Um, that's our show, ladies and gentlemen.
All right.
And that's
Yeah.
the
Somebody
last time he
posted.
ever saw her. What the heck?
Yeah. Oh, somebody posted on Facebook. I think it was one of those bring a trailer things or whatever, and it was the Tracy Trail T-bird, same color and everything.
Someone did what now? What was the first part of it?
Oh, okay.
You said something about a trailer. That was where you. It's hard to hear what you said. I heard that it was a Tracy Trail T-bird in the same color, but I didn't hear the first part.
Oh, okay. On Facebook, somebody posted, bring a trailer.
Oh,
Those
okay.
sites,
I was
and
okay. I didn't hear bring a trailer. I was thinking you were seeing a movie trailer or something.
no, I don't see those.
I'm like, cool. Somebody played my trailer. That's what I was thinking. I don't remember putting the T-bird in there.
Okay.
That's cool. Uh, yeah, in case you missed it, King Dragon. I don't even know if he's here anymore. I hadn't heard from him in a few minutes now. People come here and they drift off and they don't say goodbye.
Talk anyway. I don't know why these guys have their laundry on the damn helicopter.
I don't know. I'm wondering why they locked the little girl in there.
Yeah.
That was weird. Oh, she fell out.
Uh-oh.
Maybe that tarp was the. I don't think the tarp's supposed to be there. I think he got too close to something. What earth are they doing? That's weird.
Yeah.
I mean, I can understand if it was a big full flag. I don't think that would work with a helicopter. I don't think the blades would allow it to do what it's supposed to do.
Well, they had that trouble with the movie, the 66 Batman movie. They got the Batcopter, and they had the great, wonderful idea of putting bat wings on it. But the problem is the rotors were blowing down on the bat wings and it's like fighting the lift. It like killed a lot of the lift of the rotors. It was
Speaking
like
of
pushing down bat wings.
speaking of losing fights with helicopters, what happened to your hair, Tony?
I got a haircut, so now I look like I always look. I look myself again.
I kind
I look
of
like
like it. I think your perfect length was when you do the Ben Franklin look,
uh, yeah, but I hate him.
because you look like a scholar there when it gets like Ben Franklin length.
Well,
Uh,
this way it's like the guy from the 1950s instructional film.
so why don't we can make a start our own movie or TV show?
Ah,
I thought about instead of like BJ and the Bear with the monkey, it could be a woman trucker with a snake, or a sidekick or a boyfriend or whatever, and we can call it the Pickle Express.
there you go. Those aren't pickles.
That could be the tagline. He's not a pickle.
I had to cut that out and send it to Molly, and she fell over that hole of
Did
a
she ever
snake.
play it on her show?
Well, she doesn't really do a comedy show, but
Well, she could. That doesn't hurt to just play something. Even Dennis's thing wasn't a comedy show, but he'd put little bitty comedy bumpers in it. But, that episode, I think it was 166. That was the funniest Wrong Channel episode. It didn't stop, and that was
yeah.
Wesley joined us.
Yeah.
Wesley, you joined us to like the half an hour in, but even before he joined us, we had it going. It never happens.
Oh yeah. Well, that guy we know who does a radio show sometimes, he played a chunk of Wrong Channel this morning. And I know the first thing you're going to ask is what part. And getting old is really getting old, you know that. But it was fun. It was,
It was a fun show to do. I enjoyed it.
yeah.
Those you don't know what we're talking about, I don't even know how to find it. Um, the only way I know to find that show that we did as an audio podcast is to go to
Yeah.
apologynone.com, which is my band, and go to the links page, and you'll find a link to the wrong channel, and it'll go to archive.org, and you can find all the old episodes there. It's a fun
Yeah.
show. It's kind of like a lot of us BabbleGab people, but it was actually not a scripted show, but um, I don't know how to
Edited.
describe it. It was kind of packaged and
Edited.
edited, and it was
Yeah.
we actually had a goal and a kind of a plot, and they were actual kind of it was more of a show, and they were really funny, and we'd have celebrity guests sometimes. It was a
Yeah.
neat show.
Well, it had just a framework of a structure, not anything that dictated the content that much.
Yeah, it was kind of a improv show, but it was like we'd
Yeah.
have a goal. It's like, okay, what are we gonna do today? And it's like, how about we go searching in the storeroom and find a bazooka, and we go on the
Oh,
roof and test out the bazooka. So that was basically kind of that would be the premise of the show, or we'd do a field trip to the beach or something like
yeah.
that. It would
But
and it would
even that
always
was
end up
kind of,
pretty damn good.
yeah.
Uh, you know, I
Because
think
I,
we
I
all
always want to kind of avoid having, oh, what's today's topic? Oh, today's topic, we're going to talk about Elmer Slim, who was hit with that was killed by somebody with a rock in 1897. And we'll talk about that for 3 hours.
well when we first did BabbleGab, however many years ago, uh, at least when Putt joined us, we would have subjects for the show, which was fun.
Well,
But
that was get off of
it
my,
wasn't just
yeah,
one person. It would be like Christmas gifts,
yeah.
or we had a good one about our senior year in high school, stuff like that. They were fun shows. I kind of missed doing those, but we really needed
Yeah,
Putt
well,
for it.
those were the get off of my lawns. And the problem was we only did about four of them because that's about all the we had the one about your worst fears and all that. That was probably one of the
Yeah, it
best.
was like the get off my lawn thing. Hi,
Yeah.
is it Sherbert or Sobert?
Sobert. It's kind of
So,
an odd.
Sobert Shark Cookie. How are you
Yeah.
doing?
Oh, he's got a crown and a purple crown and a number one.
Oh yeah, does that mean you're a top fan?
I guess I don't know. Oh, I was gonna. They Facebook asked me if I wanted to get a verified badge for BabbleGab. So, oh boy, look at that. Yeah, we can do that. $15 a month.
Fuck that. Stick your verified badge up your duty chute. Uh, anyway, hi Sobert. Nice to see you here. We were discussing an idea for a new Transforama video, which I guess I'll be starting soon, and we kind of figured out some of it, um, or the body of it, I guess. We're gonna
Oh, right.
before the end of the show, we'll come up with a punchline.
Yeah, there you go.
I like making these funny. I was gonna. King Dragon Boy had come up with kind of an idea, and I was gonna see how that one went, but I guess he left.
I could sing his song. You know that song by the Fendermen? Hey, Dragon Boy.
Good morning, Captain. Good morning to you. I love that song. I've actually played it on a fun hour. Uh, that was on the Goofy Greats, KTEL Goofy Greats. When I
And
was
um, big boobies.
Dolly Parton.
Dolly Parton covered that.
Oh, really? Uh, well, it was some kind of old. The
Yeah, it was a
Fendermen covered
traditional
it.
song.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the Fendermen weren't the first to do it, but they're the ones that put the yodeling in it. Did she yodel like
right.
they did?
I think she might have. She
Uh,
was having fun with it. Definitely, she's got a sense
oh,
of
they had
humor.
fun with it. It's like I didn't know people had fun in the '50s with stuff like that because
Yeah, no, they weren't allowed. It was a rule against any fun of any
it
kind
kind of seemed like
up
it.
until like '79.
It seemed like it. And in '79, that was back. That was kind of when the '50s resurfaced again in the '70s, and you were allowed to have fun then.
Yeah,
And they made the '50s seem like it was fun, like Happy Days and
which it
stuff.
was. Yeah,
Earth is that?
That looks like a geodesic dome, except it flies. It's very strange,
It's a kite of some kind.
but it's got a framework.
But
Maybe it's a hat. Maybe they got the world's largest.
see, I could
Kind
only
of,
see that them putting it on top of something as a permanent fixture of some sort. Otherwise, what? Why even? I don't know.
maybe, oh, maybe it's like a temporary shelter or something like that. For maybe they're rescuing people and they're gonna take it over them with a helicopter and say, "Here, you can
That's
hide
a
under
long way
this."
to go with something that big, though. You know, what are you gonna take it
I think
overseas? That
not
you
like
could,
they had any budget problems back then.
yeah, I guess so. Didn't seem like it seems like the air currents, or it wouldn't be very aerodynamic. It seems like it would be better to have a method of folding that thing and,
Yeah.
and expanding it. I don't, I don't know what
Oh,
I'm
one
even
of my
looking.
favorite things is that they had it was basically a lifeboat thing. It was designed to be dropped from an airplane. So it had a roof over it. So if it, fell into the water upside, it would pop, go right side up. And when the thing hit the water, what it would do is it had these like guns that would shoot ropes and like grab handles and stuff out in all directions. So they just had to drop it sort of near the people they were trying to rescue, and it
Yeah.
would shoot the ropes out, and they could go over and get the ropes. That
Speaking of
was
people that need to be rescued and doing dumb things, uh, what do you think of the newest Transforama video with the airplanes?
oh, that was fun. Yeah,
Well, thanks.
that was fun. Yeah, I did watched it as soon as it popped, pretty much as soon as it popped up. Um, yeah, the Goonie birds start trying to take off on feet instead of wheels
Yeah.
because they didn't try that, and feet just don't work as well as
Well,
wheels do.
feet like I think in the as the video showed, it worked fine taking off, but not for landing.
Yeah,
Uh, I
I
think
mean, albatrosses managed to do that. If you're, it's funny when you're a bird. If you're a little bird, all you got to do is just pop up in the air and fly. No big deal. But if you're a big bird, it is a production. You got to get them wings out, and so they're, and get them all the way out, and so they're not dragging on the ground. And then you got to get up, and then you got to get up, and then you got to start walking along, and then you got to get some speed up, and then start flapping the wings, and then eventually, and then they get up in the air. It's fine, but
I think if I had
that
run Sesame Street one day, I'd Big Bird if he wasn't there. What happened to Big Bird? He flew away. Uh,
I think he tried to fly once and ended up in the side of a building or some shit.
yeah, there's like a whole big bird-shaped hole in the bricks. I uh,
Feet sticking out.
I think she probably could have almost landed if I think what the albatrosses or whatever do, they probably go neck up and butt down and get
Yeah,
that kind of, you know what I mean? Get that slow down enough
yeah,
where
yeah,
they can. Um,
yeah. Basically, like landing in a full stall, just
yeah, I think that would have maybe worked. She
But then
didn't have,
again, they have instincts, and a person transforming doesn't have any of that.
which is kind of when I kind of I have so much fun doing that those action scenes. So I'd like to do that more. Every time they become a vehicle, they try to do something.
Ah, yeah.
Well, in the movie, uh, Tracy didn't really handle herself very well as a race car.
Well, it's tough. I mean, I always remember it was a Elvis Presley movie called Spin Out, and like his accountant or something for whatever reason jumps into they got a Cobra, AC Cobra, and he jumps into that thing, starts it up, and he can't even. All he's doing is donuts with the damn thing because he can't even control the thing at all.
That was a Bill Cosby skit when Carol Shelby gave him that super snake. Um, he said the same thing. That he had like grab a tree in his yard and was spinning around the tree, and he gave it back to him.
Yeah. Give it to George Wallace. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I looked dumb as a baby dinosaur, and I'm like, this needs something. So I'm like putting horns on the side of my head. Well, this is too dragon-like. I'm not gonna be a dragon. And finally, I just put my hair there, just
Ah,
colored
there
it,
you go.
and I'm like, that's all I needed. That's works
So you're a
perfect.
hippie. You're a hippie dragon.
A hippie dinosaur. And as that scene behind me is actually from Saturdalia film
Yeah, yeah. I
when
remember that.
Barry and Rob were trekking through the swamp, and and he
Well,
was
Zenbot was looking at those plants, especially that one over on the side there.
well, it was Rob that kept identifying plants, and then Barry grabbed him by the neck.
Ah,
I haven't seen that movie in so long, years and
yeah,
years. I would like to see it again. I think it would be fun for us to watch it together again, because then it would be like
yeah,
almost all of us watching it for the first time, and you know,
yeah. See, that's how they make new airplanes.
what?
That's how they make new airplanes.
To have a baby.
Yeah. I think I heard one of those flying over today. I hear the because military planes have their own sound. Because commercial planes, they try to make them quiet, and the military doesn't give a damn.
There's something else about that video too. You probably didn't notice, and nobody else has really mentioned it. It's probably the first uh, Transforama video where Tracy was fine being transformed.
Yeah, she was actually enthusiastic about it.
Yeah, I think that's the first time she was. You know, even at the very even when she fell and kind of banged herself up, she didn't seem to care.
Yeah.
Like, look, I've got wheels now. All you have to do is wait a couple minutes. So many ideas. I've got so many things on the list.
Ah,
Probably 100 to do. I can only do what, a dozen a year. Well, now I'm not working on a film.
there you
Might be
go.
able to slip a couple more in.
Yeah.
Why do people come into our chat and they say hello? I'm glad they come and say hello. I guess that's better than nothing. But
Oh
then they
yeah.
just
No,
leave.
it's nice. You don't know if they leave or not because it's. But darn it, I see Putt's little circle in our Facebook group chat. Boy, I hope he can at least see the show. It'd be so nice if he could join in some manner or other.
Yeah, I sure would. I sure miss Putt. Uh,
Air Power 56. Oh boy.
well, maybe we'll, since we started later, maybe we'll get Laura or Wendy Lou in here.
Yeah.
That'll help. We can handle this ourselves if we get people in.
Yeah. Get some because I put all the invites out. Anybody who's ever like even breathed in the direction of the show, I send the invite out to.
So if we actually made like a variety show,
Hmm.
Sesame Street, I'd have a reoccurring skit where
Ah,
this black lady's carrying a whole bunch of things.
ah,
It'd always be different things.
all right.
And she'd be like, I ain't gonna spill it this time, and then it spills everywhere and it's the end.
Ah, okay.
Kind of like the chef with the top of the stairs kind of thing.
Right, right. It's funny you say variety show. My brain pops to immediately to Jackie Gleason, and yours pops immediately to Sesame Street.
Well, I was thinking Laughing, but then I thought something a little more serious and not as dumb as Laughing, and I thought Sesame Street. Um, I don't think Laughing was very funny. My mom said it was the funniest thing in the world when she watched it. I guess it had its moments, but I
Yeah.
think people randomly getting water splashed on them, and I don't know. I guess when you back then when you didn't have much of a choice for entertainment, I guess that was entertainment.
Well, it was quite popular for a while.
Well, I didn't say it wasn't
Got
popular.
in our market, it got replaced by Hee Haw.
Yeah, I used to watch that with my dad. Um, but at least Hee Haw had music and stuff. I don't think did Laugh-In have music guests? Just all skits.
I think, yeah, I don't think they actually had bands or anything. I mean, there was music, it was da 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 da, da, and that was about it. But
I
and
know
they
I've
would be
plugged this
dancing
before,
around.
but I highly recommend uh, the Ray Stevens Comedy Hour.
Oh yeah, I got that. I got that on my watch later on YouTube. I got to
Yeah, because it was
test
actually
that one.
it actually aired the night that my mom was in the hospital having me.
Ah,
So he probably missed it because of me. But
huh.
uh, but yeah, uh, it was great. It was kind of like laughing, a lot of that same kind of some of that slapstick, but it was actually funny. And
Right. See, they knew how to be funny back then. You think funny was just invented 3 weeks ago, but no, they had funny.
yeah, I mean, a part of it was Ray. He's funny,
Yeah.
he was a whole different kind of funny. That very kind of like Bob Newhart was a whole different kind of funny.
Yeah.
That's kind of and it did have uh, some. I mean, it had quite a number of celebrities. Cass Elliot was in it, and all these
Hmm.
people, and uh, a young, dark-haired Steve Martin was in it. I think he was kind of a
That,
nobody then, but
yeah, I don't know when his hair went white, but like it went all of a sudden.
yeah, because wasn't he first generation SNL?
I think he may have been like the first guest host,
Okay,
and he was a frequent guest host. He wasn't a cast member.
because I think his hair would have at least been salt and pepper in the mid
Yeah.
'70s. I don't. When he did the jerk, it wasn't bright white, was it? Was it kind of salt and pepper? I don't remember.
I don't remember because I think I saw that movie in the theaters, but I haven't seen it since.
I find it interesting that say he was 30 when he did the jerk, uh, and his hair was gray or white, that he didn't try to color it. I think that's interesting.
Yeah, well, I mean, same deal with Peter Graves. You know, he was. You see some of the because he did some schlocky sci-fi back in the 50s, and then of course Mission Impossible in '67 or whatever. And he was, of course, I don't know if he was blonde or gray because it's always hard to tell with the film of the time.
Yeah, we used to kind of bicker about it about the skipper on Gilligan's Island
Yeah,
because
because I thought he was much older, but he was actually just blonde. And
yeah, and I think we finally looked at it, and his hair was like salt and pepper blonde. It was
yeah,
like blonde and kind of grayish. So
because he was like around or almost 40 when that show first began.
okay, well, that's this day and age. That's young.
But
Uh,
well, Natalie Schaefer was born in 1900. She was
wow.
64. It was she was lied about her age. She wanted her age kept a secret until she died, and people would and it would be then revealed, and then people, oh my God, I didn't know how she was that old.
I think all of us assumed she was old. It wasn't really a surprise that she was in her. I mean, you look at Mrs. Howell, you think somebody's in her 60s or 70.
Yeah,
I guess that's a little unfair because they were just supposed to be millionaire. They weren't supposed to be like on death's door or anything. They were just
yeah.
rich.
Well, I mean, she had a more mature air about her. I mean, you can have an air of maturity without just looking like an old hag.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if we watch it again, you can watch it.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you put a right wig on her and stuff, in the right
Well, you
makeup,
remember you remember that scene, with the where they were dancing. It was her and Ginger and Marianne, and they were wearing pants for some reason,
or the
and they were
honeybees or
dancing.
something.
Yeah, the honeybees and shit. And she was keeping right up with them.
Yeah, somebody like they photoshopped a wigs and different makeup on the Golden Girls, and they actually looked pretty good. Uh,
Yeah.
Somebody did that recently. A couple days ago, I saw they did that with Alice and the Brady Bunch. They put long hair on her, and kind of did something with her
Oh,
eyebrows and stuff, and she almost looked like Jennifer Aniston. I mean, she really. It's like whoa. It
yeah.
just
The
you see
hairstyle
them in
makes
a
a big.
whole different way.
Oh yeah.
And
Well, the
everybody, I've looked
hairstyle
at all
makes
the
a big
comments, and
difference.
almost every one of them was like, "Oh, Sam the Butcher's gonna have fun tonight." It's like,
Because, like I say, go and find high school yearbooks online from like the 40s and 50s, and those gals, the seniors, they look like they're about 39. It's just because of the hairstyle and the way they dress. They just and people back, young people back then, they wanted to look older. They wanted to be mature.
yeah, my grandma, rest her soul, she always kind of had a kind of a fro, like a Ronald McDonald fro, but she always kind of had that. Uh, I don't know. It was like a
Perm.
50s, yeah, 50s perm. kind
Yeah.
of, and she had that thing till the day she died. She had that
Oh
same
yeah.
hairdo. She even colored it. She was 93 and would still color. I think she did it herself.
Yeah.
She would always do her home. She did good.
Yeah.
She
My
never had the
mom did.
Giuliani thing where it was running down her face like.
Yeah, I know. My mom did the coloring thing for a while, and then finally just said the hell with it.
No, she did. Oh, I never saw her. Maybe after she had her stroke, she might have let it because she had no choice.
Yeah.
She's bedridden then, but yeah, I got to respect that. She knew how to do her hair, and she always gave me her. Uh, they would come with a tube of conditioner, those hair color, and there was always a
Ah,
good conditioner, the best conditioner in the world. They come with those hair dye kits. She'd always give me those tubes of conditioner because they're nice. I don't know why she wouldn't use it, but her hair didn't seem like a haystack or anything. It seemed good.
yeah.
But anyway, enough of that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This is my hairdo I had as the horse. I just grabbed it off the
Oh,
horse and kind of modified it. Dinosaur. But it's still my hairdo. I just put my. Never mind. It's my eyes too and my teeth.
yeah, yeah,
But you're used to that.
yeah,
See if I
yeah.
have anything written down here. Well, hi Laura.
Oh, Laura's here.
Thank goodness she showed up. We just almost reached radio silence.
Yeah. I know. I was just looking for something to put up, but
Yeah, but when you're looking for something and I'm looking at something, then it's
well, yeah. Well, I mean, that's how it
we
works. I mean, you calm down about that.
you yell at me.
You have to, but not you too. Am I going to have to get a dictionary out? Am I going to have to get a dictionary out? Because there's an actual textbook definition of the word yelling, and it doesn't include any of this.
I
Oh,
don't
God.
get. I'm used to it. I don't get my feelings hurt when you yell at me. I'll just tell you to shut up.
Yes, you do. You pouted for an hour last week. Let me see. Add image,
How you doing, Laura?
pictures. Well, apparently I'm the meanest guy around. I mean, I
Well,
bet everybody
that's
hates
something we
me.
get used to. Um,
I guess, God forbid I
no, I
raise my
did talk to Thomas about it
voice.
a little bit, and I don't think it's as much that he thought he was being the way he's treated. He was kind of like it was hard for him to get a word in, you know. Like, and I just told him the same thing. I told you just what do you get on the freeway? Do you stop? You just
Just
gotta
punch.
merge. You got to get in there.
Just
It's part
punch
of the
it.
game. We can't just this isn't password where you like or the 1950s match game where when someone has to say something they have to raise their hand or it's just
Ooh, that, oh, good Lord. Or the talking stick. We got to have the talking stick.
Well, Laura's a number one fan too.
Oh, she got a fan thing.
How do you do that? What is that?
But wait a second. She started out as a number two and then went lighter purple and is now a number one.
Well, it's because Sober didn't say anything except hi.
But he started out with a number one.
They
And King
both say
Dragon
number
Boy
one to
has got a
me. They both say one.
well, Laura's first, well, she's got a little. Oh, I better not do that because it's freaking. That's the gesture thing on Zoom now. But oh, now both of them. No, the first her first little where she waves says number two, and then the second two are number one.
Oh,
No,
see,
it's the lighter shade of
when I'm
purple.
looking at the wave one, there isn't a purple thing by it.
Ah,
There's a thing at the top of the chat giving me experience every time I post a comment. Well, isn't that nice?
yay!
I see a
So, are
top
you
fans
experienced?
logo up there.
Are you experienced? Have you ever been
I
experienced?
used to sing a Jimi Hendrix song with that band I was in Alabama.
Ah,
I wish we had an actual name so I didn't have to say that band I was in Alabama for 4 years. Of course, the guy that kind of owned the band, he wanted to call us Still Thinking. I because
Uh,
it kind of like Steve and Allie, it was an anecdote, that was personal. He was like, they were, do you have a band name? He said, Still Thinking, and that's what they ended up calling them at the show.
oh yeah, well that was Apple Computer because they were up all night. Let's come up. We got to come up with a name for this thing, and if we can't come up with a name by midnight, we'll just call it an Apple.
Hey,
That's what happened.
I always thought it was a stupid name. Uh, well, that band, there was one band that it was similar. They were like they were trying to come up with a name, and I guess the lead guy of the band or whatever is like, I don't care. And he picked up a stick of cop drums. He said, we could call it Wild Cherry for all I care. And they're like, that's great. And he's like, no, I didn't really call it that. It was just an example, and that they became Wild Cherry.
Well, who was it? There was a like an '80s or '90s band, uh, Gabooble Jube or some thing. Cabbage, no, Gabagool, no, man.
Raja Gugu. That
It
was
might have been it.
80s.
But they always hated the name, and because they
Oh,
got the contract,
Chumbawamba or something.
that might have been it. But I think it had some G's in it.
Are they the tub thumping band?
Yeah,
Uh, Chumbawamba
they
or
got Chumbawamba, that
Chumbawamba?
was it. They got stuck with it. They got stuck with the name because they had a record, and that's their band name.
I didn't like them because I used to subscribe to. Ugh, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth to even think I gave these people money. But I do think that I subscribed to Rolling Stone for a year back in the '90s,
Nice.
and or it might have been Musician magazine. I subscribed to both of them, and I ended up hating both of them. But there was an article about that band that they were. I guess they're English or something. They were at some pub or they were someplace, and there was a politician there, and they threw a pie at him and laughed and everything, and they said he didn't press charges. And I'm just thinking, sounds like a bunch of assholes.
Yeah.
That and and 8 people in a band. Come on, it's 8 people in a band. I mean, ELO, you had 7 people, but you actually had full time, a string trio was part of the band, so it kind of made sense as their gimmick. But Chicago, you had a full horn section that was part of the band.
Well, I remember when the Monkees played, they had a whole platoon up on the stage, but they weren't,
They were just session stage
yeah.
people, though. Like Pink Floyd, they had a whole big ensemble, 2 drummers. That I actually when I saw Pink Floyd, they had 2 drummers. I think the Moody Blues was the first band I saw with 2 drummers in the early '90s, and then it became like standard and I think it's because of those old fossil drummers that were in the bands in the '60s that they couldn't handle it anymore.
Mm.
Yeah, she said, yeah, Chimbalun was sort of an antichrist,
No,
anarchist,
not the other one.
anartist. Sorry, uh, anarchist artist. That anarchist artist it messed me up.
Yeah, toy boat.
So they're still about. I don't know anything about them other than there were 8 people and that they threw a pie at some politician. And the politician, he might deserve to die. I just think it's tacky for a band to do that. I don't care who he is.
Those are rarely fatal. Although I have heard.
I heard that that's what. Salty. He's convinced that that's when Bill Gates snapped. He was walking out of a thing. It's on video. Someone threw a pie at him, and he says ever since then he just wanted revenge on the world. He became like this diabolical, like villain.
Well, that's what I liked about, even though Quantum of Solace was kind of the Bond movie everybody wants to forget, especially the recent ones. I loved that the main villain was a friggin' NGO, like this philanthropist, big time, with all the celebrity guests and all that other crap. All that. That's the best kind of villain there is.
Something
Most
that
realistic.
is gross. It's disgusting.
I don't know what the hell she's doing.
I don't know, but there was like a gash in her hand. It looked like she was bit by a shark or something.
Yeah, I think it's It's like if you have a shark bite,
Anti-shark cream.
yeah, groom clean. But what?
No, well, Tomorrow Never Dies with Brosnan was similar because the evil guy was like one of these TV moguls,
Yeah.
and I thought, well, that's pretty evil too. That's a pretty good one. Um,
Yeah,
I
that was that guy was based on Robert Maxwell. It was this British newspaper. He owned all of these like scandal sheet newspapers, and Robert Maxwell is the father of Ghislaine Maxwell, of the guy who
the
didn't kill
island,
himself.
the fantasy island guy.
Yeah,
That the I should like Quality of Solace because they covered a girl in what was it, chocolate? The
yeah. It was supposed to be oil, but it was actually chocolate.
Yeah, so I should like that, but even that didn't save it for me. I
Yeah.
saw it once and I was just like, it's one of those movies and when it's over, it's just like, what's for dinner, honey? Because it's like there's absolutely nothing to.
Well, it
It's
only had one speed. There was no variation to it. It was just like you couldn't even like figure out what was going
no
on. It was just
story.
yeah.
It was just stuff. It was just a bunch of stuff. Uh, and yeah, Laura said tongue twister time. Uh,
Mhm.
yeah. Anyway, what do you think of my new look, Laura? I might have asked before. Um, I was kind of saving this for Rob, but
Ah.
we were discussing some. Never mind. We were discussing disgusting. We were discussing
Yes.
video. That too.
Oh, there you go. How to get their kid to pretend he likes that shit?
I remember liking it when I was a little kid, like a toddler. Uh,
Well, I don't remember. I don't have
but then
memories.
again, my mom gave me that Neil Mo soy, that soy milk, and I remember liking it when I was a little kid.
Oh, God. Maybe that explains it. Oh, there we go. Hell,
Well, that's
man.
explained some of it, as my dad said, because she was supposed to wean me on to milk gradually, and she didn't. He says that's why you don't like milk, is because you were allergic to it when you were a kid, and your mom never got you off the soy gradually. So when the
Uh,
soy just became gross, so did milk.
yeah.
I mean, I buy like I go through about a half a gallon of milk a week, but it's because I put it in my oatmeal and in my tuna helper and in my coffee.
Not your cereal, though, but you do put it in the oatmeal.
Well,
Okay.
I put it in my hot cereal, the oatmeal. I don't eat cold cereal.
Yeah.
It's bad
Yeah.
for you. Um, I like it. Oh, I'd love. Oh, believe me, I'd love to have a box of Captain Crunch or
I actually had some Captain Crunch. There was a guy who was living here and he got it like a fucking pillow of Captain Crunch. And then one morning he got busted for some warrant that was out in some other state, and that was the end of him. And left behind this big, this freaking sack of Captain Crunch, which I confiscated. I just ate it dry too, and it's just it was okay, but I can live without it.
yeah. Well, I've always eaten dry cereal ever since I was a kid. Never put. I never could understand it. I mean, one, I don't like the taste of milk, and the other, you get a crunchy cereal. Why do you want to get it soggy? But I try to explain it because you either like it or you don't, and I think it's something you
Yeah,
grow up with. If you don't grow up with it, it's just like weird.
yeah, like this guy.
Yeah, he kind of looks like an Applejack, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, shoot, I love the taste of cereal. I'd like I said, I'd have a box of honeycomb right by me at work and eat it all day if it wasn't terrible for you.
Hi, Yolani.
Hi, Yolani. How are you doing? We were talking about Transforama ideas. We've had like three or four guests here come in, and we keep trying to talk about ideas, and everyone just says hi and they leave. So nobody's contributed anything. Okay.
All right, all right. Bring out your dad. Okay, here we go. This is a Chef Boyardee commercial.
One of the Monty Python. I'm sick of blood and cuts and stuff. What is this shit?
But that last one was actually hair grease. It just looked like some
Oh,
kind
it looked
of
like a hole in her
glue.
hand, like a shark bit her or something. Uh, and what's that green vomit all over the? Good grief! The '60s were gross. Uh, somebody was saying that was look at all that blood. Ugh. So somebody was saying that that was kind of what was great about Star Wars is it brought fun back in the movies again because like ever since the 60s it was just let's see how depressing and dark and cutting
Oh,
edge we can make because all of the movies were produced or directed by these film school nerds, these scholars
yeah.
that were just all about la di da. I'm going to make the most profound movie that's going to make me talked about and make me immortal. And so they make these uh, 2001 space idiots and stuff with monkeys and stuff. And it's just all depressing movies. Oh, I just saw a 1970 AMX. That looked pretty cool.
Yeah,
Or was it a Javelin?
it might have
It
been.
was hard to tell just from the front.
I always thought that they probably designed the AMX first and then figured, yeah, we can't really sell a two-seater, and then stretched it and made the regular Javelin.
They're both good. I mean, they're both ponies, technically. Wasn't the Javelin a pony? Of course it was.
Yeah.
Uh,
Because
there's
all the pony cars had back seats. I mean, useless back seats in most cases. Like the Challenger back seat was just a joke, but at least it had
well,
the
mine's
back
good
seat.
for the dogs.
Yeah.
But I had a there's a guy that goes to all the car shows. He's part of our car club,
Yeah.
and he's got a 70 AMX with the side pipes and the Hot Wheels green metallic paint job with like the uh, slate, or the graphite gray hood
Oh,
boy, that
yeah.
is a sharp looking car.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost like too good to be driving kind of car. Oh, did
Yeah. I
you
had a
see
couple.
when I took the truck today? The picture of the truck with the frog in the gas cap and the big spider. Uh,
Oh, yeah.
wasn't a big spider, but the frog was hiding there, and the spider was just skipping past. Just
Yeah.
spiders
Doing
do.
spider stuff.
I think there was a brown recluse spider that was hanging on a web in my living room, dining room, and I got rid of it because I think you can tell what they are because their webs are so sorry. It's just like two strings. It's like they're like bad people that
Ah,
they all they can do is destroy and hurt and they can't do anything good. So it's like it's
ah.
like killer bees. I guess they can't make honey. So it's just like they're just mean and useless.
Well, I don't know about the kid. Well, because the initial idea was to have a bees that made more honey, and so they crossbred, African bees with regular, non-African honeybees.
Yeah, what could
But
happen?
yeah, yeah. And the thing is, we were all worried about those. The killer bees are coming. The killer bees are coming. The killer bees. They basically just kind of mixed with all the other bees and just sort of bred themselves out of existence.
Oh, did they? Yeah,
Yeah,
because we were
but it
always,
didn't end up
oh, they made it to Texas. Uh, but I'd heard bad
because
things that
you see them flying around. They got the little leather jackets on.
yeah, they look like Klingons from the '60s.
Mm.
They, but they used to say, that just having a lawnmower would provoke them. Just the noise they could attack you. They're
Now,
butthole
this
bees.
is the '60s, man. The kid, they put up, just a pile of like pipes and crap out front, and then he just bounces all over the place. And when he breaks his neck, then you just get those little things for him.
Now wait, did I just see them put a band-aid on his cut, and when they pulled the band-aid off, the cut was gone? That would be considered today false advertising.
Well, I think it was like a disinfecting wipe thing, and so
Oh,
they kind of wiped some of the blood off.
oh,
Changes gray to natural looking color. No, it does not.
that doesn't look bad.
I guess, but
I
I
wouldn't. I
was,
wouldn't. Well, now it's getting. That's too much.
yeah. See, I would never color my hair because I'm old, and I see these old guys, and especially the guys with black hair, and they will dye the hair just black as midnight, and it looks like you took an old '60s car with faded paint and put a new vinyl top on it.
Oh yeah.
It just looks so completely out of place.
I just thought vinyl tops look out of place. Anyway, thank you, Laura. She said it looks cool. I like it. Tony said I had big feet, but I'm a baby. I'll grow into them.
I guess.
Unless I just stay a baby forever. Kind of how I like to draw stuff. I like the big heads and the big eyes. That's part of being a cartoonist,
Yeah.
animator.
Now they're drinking. Their stewardesses on a plane and they're drinking beer. So
Boy, those
here,
are the
have a
good old
beer.
days.
Hell yeah.
But you know, I didn't notice until Terry was next to uh, Will Marshall in Saturdalia how big Terry's eyes are.
Ah.
Did you ever notice that? How big his eyes are?
Well, I mean, he's a cartoon.
Well, I guess it's proportion. I guess I did it well if you got to think about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But just
But
look if
not
you
Japanese, like, because the Japanese they like to, they draw because they think we have like giant eyes, and so they always draw
yeah, it's
like,
kind of where
yeah,
anime got its style from, isn't it?
yeah.
They're trying to kind of market it to an American audience. So yeah, we make them
Oh, they got big, huge eyes. Well,
and
just
rocket ship heads. She got a cone head.
well, she's got like things in her hair too. You ever do that with the curlers?
Uh, yeah, because of when I was Tommy, they curled my hair up, so I would look like Roger Daltrey or Peter Frampton. But
Ah,
they did a good job. I didn't even mind because I don't know. I don't mind having curly hair as long as it's blonde, kind of long. I'm
yeah. As
okay with it.
long
So
as it
speaking of
doesn't
which, I
like
got to
make
get my hair did
ears.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, I was kind of
We
planning
have to
on
go like that.
what?
Shit. I mean, her hair, I think, is actually like it's designed for safety reasons. I think she rides a motorcycle.
Yeah, that's better.
But
Looks
back
like
then,
ear to god goop.
they wanted a woman's hairstyle not to move. They wanted if she moved her head, the hair just stayed in the same spot. Just no flow or anything like that. That's what they wanted.
Well, even my hair kind of moves with me. See.
No, I mean it doesn't like flow or anything. It's just there.
Well, I'm a
And
dinosaur. Mine flows. I
yeah.
guess I don't have enough hairspray like hers. I guess that's a '50s thing with all the hairspray. Aquanet, is that what they put in their
Oh
hair,
hell yeah.
or they just put like
Yeah,
wallpaper paste for hair
pretty
or something?
much. Or the gorilla
Really?
glue.
Remember that girl that put the gorilla glue in her hair, and then it's like the company that said you're so stupid, but we're gonna help you out,
Mhm.
and then some other girl, because I think it was a black girl that did it the first, and then a white girl
Yeah.
wanted the attention and did it, and I think it was just like, no, I'm not gonna help
No.
you. You knew better. It's like, why do people do that? It's so our social media clicks.
Yeah. How's he in here yet? Hey, look at this guy. Hey, damn, he's gonna end up with a broken neck.
Well, at least people are coming in and signing our guest book. They don't say anything to
Yeah.
us, but I guess that's something.
Yeah, it's cool.
Goatscock is working late and said he won't be able to join us, but he'll try at least toward
Yeah.
the end. So we're hoping we can get him.
There is no try. Do or do not. Of
Do
course, I
or
don't know
do
why I
not.
made
There's no try. Could you imagine if they gave Yoda Sean Connery's voice instead of Rover's?
we sail into history. Or Walter Brennan.
I tell you,
If
boys,
they'd have gotten six to do Yoda's voice instead of Frank Oz.
it would have been a hit.
Hey, Boris.
I'm one of the only people that in the world that didn't care much for Empire Strikes Back. Everybody, oh, that was better than Star Wars. No, it wasn't. It was a Muppet. It was a start of the Muppet movie.
Well, he was a pain in the ass. He dumps his spaceship in the damn water. Oh, you need more patience. Fuck you with your patience. It's like,
Damn Muppet. Near, far. It's like Muppets. And they well, I won't say Yoda totally, but the mandolin TV
oh
show,
yeah,
they
the DeLorean. Yeah,
the man John DeLorean, they
yeah,
they that baby Yoda was Yob from Bugs Bunny, uh the baby Martian. Remember him, Yob?
Ah,
And
okay.
it was perfectly Yob. They should have gotten sued over it. I'm not sure suing people, but gosh dang,
Ah,
there was nothing original about that damn Baby Yoda. Don't even get me started on that stuff. Uh,
man,
oh,
look at that, all that
I sure
paneling.
you
It's
shouldn't
like,
have
my
played ball in the
God.
house. Those are the cow
Yeah,
sills.
yeah. But look at all that paneling. Oh, and they got the damn tables to match too. And yeah, our neighbors had that tile in the floor tile in the kitchen. And my dad would not have gotten that paneling if you paid him to put it in because he built boats. Well, he began boats. He never really finished that many, but he hated knots.
Oh, like the
Absolutely hated
naughty wood.
knots
What
of
do you
wood.
call that? Naughty pine.
Knotty pine or
Yeah. When
knotty
Trouble
pine.
Clef, that band I was in, our
Mhm.
for some like 6 years, our practice room that I was there twice a week was the den of this guy of John's house, and it was all knotty pine. I think the
Oh yeah.
ceiling, the walls, everything. So it was kind of an interesting. I liked it.
And
It's not
Master
my.
Charge.
It's
Do
not
you
my.
remember?
Yeah, you know you're old when you remember Master Charge.
Yeah.
I had a wallet and it had a couple sample cards in it, and one said Versa, but it looked like Visa, the logo, the stripes.
Ah,
And I would go and you take Versa. I would actually go to cashiers and ask that. You take Versa? I
and
thought
the
it
other
was
one was
funny at
Bank
the time.
AmeriCard.
You
Before it
what?
was Visa, it was Bank AmeriCard.
Yeah. And that was back before printers, before we could just forge our own stuff.
Oh yeah.
So it was kind
That
of
was
a
back in the days.
oh, I
Well,
remember those days with
my
the
first job
carbon.
was gas pump, pumping gas, and yeah, we had that
Laura said Bank America card.
Bank AmeriCard. That's what I
Bank
said.
Americard.
Yeah.
I don't even remember that one. I do remember Darren back when he
Sandwich.
stopped kind of being an asshole. He,
Ah.
I had borrowed his bass, his Charville bass, for like a long time. That was the bass that I used.
Mm.
And he asked if he could buy the bass back. I'm like, well, it's yours. You don't have to buy it. But he insisted on buying it back, and he gave me these American Express traveler's checks.
Oh my God. I remember
Yeah, and
those.
that's the only time I've ever experienced those. Um, but yeah, I was able to just cash them in. But that was nice of him.
Yeah, for some reason, I always felt like I had to use those when I was going to college and I was flying from Hawaii to California. I had to get traveler's checks, just
Well,
and then
yeah, their whole
immediately just
thing was
open an account.
if you lose your wallet or something, you get
Yeah.
purse snatcher or something. Snatch.
What will you do? What will you do?
Wasn't that the guy Carl Malden or something?
Hmm.
I never did. You know, I only remember the theme to Streets of San Francisco. I don't remember actually watching it, but I remember when I was a kid. So I guess evidently my parents. You know what it was? Is the theme gets your attention,
Yeah.
and of course they've always got the '60s cars and the '70s cars, so it was cool. And then when the show went on, I was probably just playing with my toys,
Yeah.
making my own Streets of San Francisco. I used to have a Mary Tyler Moore play set, you know, and I would you'd had the newsroom.
Yeah.
Never, I'm just kidding.
I know.
If I had the '70 Mustang, I could at least kind of pretend I'm
Yeah,
Mary
with the
Tyler Moore,
badge band.
leaving Rob Petrie and their son, Larry Mathers.
That was it. Yeah.
Larry, what was his name? Larry Wilcox? No, Larry
I have no idea.
Sutton.
Dang it.
Uh,
She shouldn't be buying cigarettes. Oh,
Larry, shit.
that was him. Yeah.
No, it's Mary. What was? I'm losing all of it. Maury
Mary, Larry, and
Amsterdam, Mary Tyler Moore,
oh,
and Larry
Maury.
Matthews. You just got to get it into the groove, then you'll get it.
Right.
And people said that people complained that the kid couldn't act. What was it like a nepotism thing? Was he like the son of one of the big wigs there because he couldn't really act? He just shouted all his lines. But
That's what
I
real
thought
kids.
that
That's
show
what
was
real
done
kids
kind of
do.
live, where you got to kind of well, you don't have to shout your lines. They didn't.
Well, that's what real kids do. Everything they shout everything they say, don't they?
Yeah, I got it. Thank you,
I'm
Laura. She got Larry Matt. I got it when I put the theme in my head.
yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. Remember when he tripped over the ottoman and didn't come to, and they were all worried about him, and
Yeah.
they all
Well, I remember like half the time he'd miss it, and then the other half the time he'd fall over
yeah
it.
they wanted to keep people kind of on their toes, give them a
Yeah.
reason to stick around and watch it. Yeah, that's a good idea. Why
Well, the
not?
Brady Bunch should have done that, with the things and they're all they should have had like like Manson in one of them. It's like what?
Or Apology None, where Barry falls through the floor of one of the squares. That was pretty funny.
Oh yeah.
And and Zen pointing and laughing at him in Rob's square. Wasn't bad.
Hmm.
That was a school project. If you ever see Trapped on the Apology None channel, I kind of almost wish I could just redo the whole YouTube Apology None channel and just have just the best episodes, the films and instead of all the teasers and well, you can make playlists.
Yeah, you could do that. Like
I do have
Cheesehead.
playlists on there. What am I talking about? But nobody
Well,
cares. Saturday is Apology None's biggest viewed thing.
yeah. Oh, did it surpass Star Trek?
Oh yeah, a long time ago. I think Real
Oh,
One. The last time I checked, I don't know. You might have to check what the view count is on Real One. I think the last time I checked, it was around 70,000. I don't think Star Trek.
nice.
I
Because I
haven't seen
always
what's.
remember when Star Trek just went nuts all of a sudden. It went from like 10 to like 25. Uh,
I think I ruined it.
uh,
I was convinced that somebody had sabotaged my channel with a bot, and that was going to get because a good friend of ours, who I won't mention the name, used a bot just before that,
uh,
and he got nabbed, and they took his video down. And I thought that maybe somebody was jealous and they botted my video,
uh,
and then I took it offline for like 5 minutes because I was scared. And I thought, well, I'm overreacting, and I put it back, and then the momentum stopped. So maybe it was a bot. I don't know. Uh, my problem with my problem with it was why I thought it was a bot is because it wasn't getting comments or likes. It was just
hmm,
getting hits. So that's when I thought something was wrong. Um, so no regrets. Uh, Now one of my Transforama ones, the train one, what happened was they put it on everybody's recommended feed, even if they
ah,
didn't know what Transforama or any of that stuff was. So
right.
it's like at 120,000 views, but it's also got like 400 dislikes. And I'm just like, it says it right there in the description. The girl becomes a steam engine, train or whatever. I didn't like. So why would they click on it anyway? And why would they give it a thumbs down? It is what I said it was. I don't get it. I don't click on basketball and give it a thumbs down because I hate basketball. Does it make any
Yeah.
sense to you? It's like and YouTube, for some reason, they just thought I wanted to see the WNBA or the NBA, and they kept putting these whole
Ain't nobody ever wants to see
yeah,
the
and even
WNBA.
regular NBA. They kept putting this whole row in my YouTube feed about NBA stuff, and I just click on the three dots and say no, I'm not interested in this, and it disappears. I don't click on the NBA videos and give them a thumbs down. It's stupid.
Yeah.
If it's not your thing, why even click on it? We're so dumb. Glad I'm a dinosaur. I don't have to
Yeah.
worry about it. Where the hell is everybody?
I don't know.
This is getting depressing.
Yeah. Oh, look at this guy. Now he's
Putt
beating the
did
shit out of
go
his
into our
coworker. Look
chat,
at that.
Laura. What?
He's beating up his coworkers now.
Laura Putt did go in our chat a few days ago, and he said he's doing better, and
Yeah.
gave us at least a few uh, emoticons and things here and there. That's about all we heard. Laura said he was on like a dialysis thing now, so that's something, you know. I'm pulling
Yeah,
for him.
it seems like that would be a positive thing. They wouldn't bother if it wouldn't.
Yeah, you
Uh,
wouldn't think. Hope get to see him again. upside down guy.
Yeah, I married a woman. Oh, good. That's rare these days.
He said, "Oh, good. I was about to ask." Was about. That's about all we know. And Tony saw his circle in our chat today, so he's
Hmm.
at least saw something that we did. Wish he'd just show up. Love to
Yeah,
see him
even if
again.
you
It'd
just
be kind
pop
of like
into the
seeing a
chat.
ghost, but still.
Well, he ain't a ghost yet.
Well, there was a guy that played Scrooge the first year I played Marley in the Scrooge musical, and he basically floofied on stage for Scrooge. They had the paddles, the shock paddles, and everything,
Wow.
and it just made us all sick, you know. And a couple of weeks later, he was in the audience, and it was like seeing a ghost. You know, it
Mm.
was great seeing him, um, but then I think he floofied like a year later.
Yeah.
But his was, they said his heart stopped because of a calcium deficiency. So I was
Ah,
like, is that like a Charlie horse in your heart? Yeah, I mean, I get Charlie horses in my feet, and they hurt.
that is kind of what that is. It's sort of like a cramp, like a muscle cramp, but it's in the heart muscle. It just stops it.
It says Mark Putt fan club sends their best wishes. Oh, that's nice. Uh, we'll put that. Can you put that in our chat? What from Laura, Tony, if you don't mind. If I click on Facebook, it'll stop everything.
Copy. Let's see if it
Anyway,
locates.
Laura, this scene behind me is from our animated film Saturdalia, which, if you like Apology None, you check it out. It's in 4 easily digestible uh, segments. It's an hour movie, but it's in 15-minute segments.
Yeah.
Um, I did it 10 years ago. Actually, 10 years ago this month it was released. Uh,
Okay.
so it was. I thought at the time it was my life's work, but then that became the last page of summer, and that became my life's work. And then I Want Her for Myself ended up becoming my life's work.
Yeah.
I got a lot of life's works, I guess,
Yeah.
and I'm always hoping I don't floofy before I finish one of my life work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm always hoping I last as long as my current project, especially when it's like a 4 year project like that last. I don't do any more of those 4 year projects.
Well, just to be like Bowie and just like not tell anybody you're going to floofy and just keep cranking out the album and then.
Yeah, but if I floofy, if I don't tell anybody that I'm sick and then I
Yeah,
floofy, then nobody will even know what I was working on.
that's true.
Dig? I used to give you guys, like, send you guys the latest, like in the
Hmm.
Dropbox. I think at least in Saturday, just in case I floofied, because I wanted you guys to have the latest so you could at least release it somehow.
Yeah.
Is that the one that played at Video Wrench, or was it at Mingo? I remember seeing one of the films there.
That would have been Mingo Ranch, I think.
It
Um,
very well could have. There was one that had a
yeah, I think.
drive-in theater screen, and I remember seeing. I think it was Saturdalia. I watched it from like a rooftop there.
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah, because it would have been Mingo Ranch because Video Ranch that floofied a while back.
Yeah, I don't think it was video. I think it was something else that was similar. So maybe you were there, Laura. Well, thanks. Well, Molly did a whole show called like Queen of Space, tearing it up.
Yeah.
Like I think that's Terran. Terran. I think
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like a planet there that she's on, but it was tearing it up with. I don't know, but she played all of the Apology None episodes all the way up to Saturdalia.
Yeah.
And it was really neat because at the end, Terry Summer visited Queen of Space, and it was the only time I ever did uh, a hybrid cartoon with a live action thing,
Ah,
serial commercial style with Queen of Space, and it worked out really good. Where she like grabbed me by the collar and was pulling me, and it was worked out neat. I can't believe we got it to work like that. It neat. It couldn't have been easy for her to choreograph herself. It's bad enough filming yourself, but to film yourself with an imaginary cartoon character and stuff, it's
Oh yeah.
I gotta give her kudos for that. And it worked out
And you can
great.
even have like a dude, oh, yeah, like you weren't there playing off of her, like Gilbert Gottfried and Bob Hoskins and Roger
Yeah, because that's
Rabbit.
what I'm saying. It's bad enough when you're just trying to film yourself without a director. It's you know,
They're soaking in it.
one of Timmy's movies was playing at the ranch, and I said I had other plans and couldn't stay for the whole thing. Um, yeah, well, it's all on YouTube, and I do think
Yeah.
that I do. In fact, I believe I have the whole Queen of Space episode on Vimeo on the Apology None Vimeo channel,
Really?
so you can watch it there. So it is does exist. You know what? I need to make that more readily available and like have it.
Hi, Wendy.
Hi, Wendy. How are you? It just dawned on me today that August is next month, which is like the start of fest season. It's like already? I can't believe it. I still haven't done any modifications to my gator head. I
Mhm.
decided against getting like Florida Man patches for my vest. I'm just gonna leave it as it is. Um, we still got to do a last page of summer uh, watch party here.
Yeah.
Claudine and friends. I had fun with our little watch party we had for the new film a few weeks ago. It was fun,
Mhm.
and it had a groovy cake, an apology nun cake. Never
Yeah.
seen one. I'd never had an apology nun dessert before. That was great. It was funny
There's
because
Florida Man.
huh?
There's Florida Man.
Yeah. Speaking of which, that is funny. That is me. Uh, yeah, we're doing fine. How are you? I was expecting my brother to move out. I was going to help him move out on the 8th, but the sale of his house fell through, so who knows when he'll be able to come
Oh
in.
crap!
So,
Skin conditioning lotion.
you what?
Yeah, just reading what's on the screen.
I was getting held up. Good times. How do you shut up? Good times. And now we got one day at a time. What is this? We're getting too far into the 70s. Now we get the weird hair.
Yeah, that guy we know actually played that "Good Times" the theme song on the TV theme song thing today. And then he goes and plays YMCA near the end, and I'm just shaking my head. Four.
Old Trump would like it. He loves that song. I don't get it. I never liked that. Of course, I don't like any of that kind of disco-y. I think there's one song that was kind of disco-y that I kind of liked, and that was the "Everyone's a Winner." Diddle 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 diddle. Remember that song? Was it Hot
Yeah, I
Chocolate? Who did that song?
think it was.
I like it. It almost reminds me of Verb. That's what's happening. That's my favorite soul song.
Yeah.
Verb. That's what's happening. I like that song.
Yeah.
Glad you're
Everyone's
doing
a
well,
winner.
Wendy. We haven't seen each other in a while. It's been actually
Yeah.
it's not been too long since we did the movie. I've just been so busy. Been just working feverishly on this house, um, getting ready for Darren to get here, and that's it. I hope he gets here. I hope he can sell that place. Gosh, I think he's gonna maybe put a new roof on it, and that'll be like tens of thousands of dollars, maybe.
I wasn't-
It kind of, I mean, the plan. He's got like a six or $700,000 house there. We were kind of hoping he would sell it and be able to get something nice here,
yeah.
but he's had to put so much work into that place, and I think he still owes some on it. So I don't think he's going to be able to get decent. I might end up having the better house, which It's not supposed to happen. He's supposed to be
Yeah.
the one with the better stuff.
King Rat. Look at him.
Elephant Mouse Cheetos.
Cheeto Rat.
Oh, that was before Cheetos was a tiger or a puma or
Yeah.
whatever. No, he was a leopard. What was he?
Yeah.
Husker cheetah?
A
No, he's a
cheetah.
cheetah. Of course. I miss that old animation. That's like Schoolhouse Rock.
Yeah.
Well, I'm an animator. If I miss it, I can do it. That we've been doing some updates on the house. We have a new kitchen appliance ordered. Oh yeah, neat. I've been putting in a backsplash on my kitchen wall
Ah.
that looks like these like the little mosaic tiles, the small ones, the little rectangle things, different colors, and but they're stick-on tiles, but they're nice. They're really nice textured and they're thick. And I ran out, so I've got more coming in. It doesn't matter. But yeah, I've been.
Did she look hammered to you?
She looks slow, almost reminds me of Bobby Gentry. Of course, she's hammered. She's got to. She's about to cry. She's got to blur out all of the casting couch memories that she's
Yeah.
got from being able to do those commercials. Charles Jr. was that old?
Oh yeah, it goes back to the like 46.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. I know Hardee's is as old as I can remember. We had Hardee's out here in the Midwest.
Yeah, well, I think they merged fairly recently.
Oh, so they weren't always a thing together?
Yeah.
I know that the Hardee's, and we had a Hardee's right next to us in Alabama. It's in walking distance. And I hardly ever went there. I probably should have, but we were dead broke. That's probably why. Um, but they became Hardee's Red Burrito, where they
Ah.
served hamburgers and tacos. It was like a
It's
hybrid.
funny because the adjunct kind of Mexican food thing is called green burrito out here on the
For Carl's Jr.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder if their sauce is different because you got a green Mexican sauce and a red.
Yeah.
I
So
prefer
it's
the
like,
red, Gary, because the green is kind of like snot a little bit. Next step is new flooring, but not right away. I finally sealed. I say sealed. I finally kind of sealed my kitchen floor, so hopefully not as many black feet now. It just like that. Since I had the house, that was one thing that it's like it's got ceramic tile floor, but it's like it was never sealed, so it was never cleaned. So you mop it, with everything else, and it was just I don't know, it was just always dirty. So I finally kind of got some stuff to seal it. So hopefully it'll.
ancient Chinese.
I've already seen a difference. Calgonite.
Ancient Chinese secret.
That's Calgon without the ite. I used to think telephone line from ELO's. Telephone line, give me some time. I'm living in Calgonite. I was 6. You misinterpret.
Oh, hey, Shark, Silver Shark,
Hey, Sobert Shark.
playing Roblox.
What's Roblox? Is that like Minecraft or something?
Probably.
When I was a kid, we played with that stuff, but it was actually stuff you put in you had held in your hands, like
Yeah.
real plastic blocks. They call them Legos now, but when I was a kid, we had bricks blocks because we were too poor for Legos. Legos they still are expensive. I've got no regrets. I loved our bricks
You know
blocks.
what? My problem was I could never, especially the thin Legos. I could never. Once you put those on, you couldn't get them off with a jackhammer.
Yeah, they're good for stepping on, like parents stepping on them.
Yeah.
Like I had I used to buy at the Amish store. I hope I won't be able to go there again if my cousins moved away from their lake house.
Oh,
So I might not be able to go to the Amish store anymore and buy the Lego candy that you can actually put together like Legos. Damn, that's depressing.
yeah. Or you could just make a special trip just to go there.
Yeah, but if I'm gonna do that, I might as well just go to Amazon and buy the stuff. probably buy it there. You can buy interesting stuff on Amazon, like grape Tootsie Rolls and different things.
Right.
Um, you know what? About a month or two ago, I almost ordered a big bag of Tootsie Rolls that had grape and different weird flavors, and I didn't because I think it would have taken like a weeks to get here, and I would have had them already
Yeah.
if I'd have just done it. But then I would have eaten them all, and I'd probably be 10 pounds heavier. So I guess I'm glad I didn't. What you up to, sober? Kind of came here and you went away and you played your game, and now you're back. And we still haven't gotten any farther on the Transforama video that we were planning.
We just wanted to figure out what the ending would be.
Yeah. Well, let me give you a quick synopsis before I get my uh, little pit stop, halfway point pit stop,
Oh boy.
halftime show. So Terry never gets transformed into anything cool, really. He's become a lemon and different cupcake, different things. And I don't really plan to, but Rob's going to test some special shorts on him that will supposedly expand the transformation, so people don't become like indecent. So he's like thrilled because he can become something now, but
Yeah.
when it hits his shorts, the beam it bounces off and hits Tracy and Rob. And I think we figured out that she becomes like the front of her becomes the front of this like Corvette convertible. Picture like a was it like the 2007? What had the split grill, kind of the rounder look? It was the Corvettes that after they ditched the '80s body style. The next one.
Well, the C5 is the one that still had the flip up headlights, and then the C6.
Yeah, she would have had this. She had the flip up headlights,
Mhm.
but it had the split grill, almost like the. Doesn't matter, but so the front of her is that Corvette with the wheels and everything, but the back she's still got her human butt and legs, and she's kind of on her knees with the face down, which she'd have to be kind of. And Rob, the back, I guess the back of him would become like the back of the car, but he's still got his arms and his regular head. So it's kind of it backfired. So he's trying to tell Terry how to reverse it. So he kind of reverses it, but she becomes the full car. And I guess from what we figured, Rob becomes like a metal, 15-foot tall Rob, because he doesn't like revert all the way. Or he can't. I mean, that's basically as far as we got. I don't know, because that's when
that's where we got to figure out what happened. If he's the back half and then she's the front half, and then the thing goes buzz, and then she turns into the whole car, and then he does have to turn into something.
Yeah, we can go from there. That's basically where we're stopped. I mean, I thought maybe he could just be tall Rob, tall metal, because part of the transformation process, if you're used to transformation videos that I do, is the girls or the people that become like, say, a car, they become the mass first. So they basically become like 15-foot tall and metal before they. It doesn't always work like that, but most of the time it does. That's why I was thinking it would be, because I could just have him become just regular Rob again, but I don't know if that would be as funny, because we're trying to just kind of have. So let me do my halftime thing and ponder it. I'll be right back.
Errands to ponder. Oh boy! So since everybody else kind of
looked like somebody's mouth and they were pulling a tooth out.
Probably is. Well, that's that crapple, so they don't have tooth yet. But no, that wasn't it. Come on, there we go. And now we got a monkey. And those are Land Rovers and lions and a giraffe. So where are we? Oh, there's a hippo, an elephant autonomous thing. And they all have to go to the gas station for some reason. I don't know what a giraffe needs with a gas station. And now we got this guy. Now, I don't know the deal with the turtleneck, because turtleneck sweaters were considered cool for about 3 weeks back in 1972. Because if you ever watched like In Search of with good old Leonard Nimoy, he always had like the turtleneck, and then maybe the corduroy sport coat over the turtleneck, and then the big glasses because he had to have big glasses in those days. Because he was always in search of the paranormal, and it was all ironically, but and no, this is not a Monty Python sketch. I'm not really sure what it is because they've got sticks, but they have modern haircuts. Oh, it's the Band-Aid commercial. That's right, because it turns you white when you use it, I guess. And then you remember when the Band-Aids were in the steel thing and it was like clunk and you had that like and then there was the red string and you had to and the string would either break or it would pull out and then you still got to try and tear the thing open. And so once in a while it actually worked. It's amazing. But I haven't used them in a long time. Super shell. That would be very inconvenient. See, now the lizard didn't give a damn. But I think he's out driving in the desert with on a Jeep with no name. Ah, there's a rattlesnake. Ah, here come the buzzards. You got to watch out for the buzzards. Now be careful. Don't drink that red crap, whatever it is. Oh, yeah. Or the little, do you remember the little dot band-aids? I don't know if I ever had a chance to, it's like, it would cover like a half a zit, but it was just a little circle and it was just, I don't know what the purpose was. Why would you put a band-aid on a wound that small? Oh, yeah, that's the AMX. It's like a 69 or 70 instead of like the 68 where they went to a different grill.
The 70 didn't have the separators. It just had it went straight across.
Yeah.
Um, well, you got to put a little band-aid on if you're like working with caustic materials. You don't want
Ah,
that wound exposed. Like if you're messing with cement, wet cement, you don't want
yeah. I was
that
just
lye
thinking
getting
the
into a
ones that
cut.
little the circle because it was just so tiny. It was
Oh, I
like it
remember
was
those.
coming
Those are
through
for
like
bunions and things.
onions. Go for some
But I remember
bunions.
working with cement and I had a little cut on my finger and it ended up making it a
Oh,
permanent scar. I've still got that scar on my finger. And I can see it right now. It's shaped like a V, and it was because of cement getting on a scar and just burned the heck out of it. Laura said they're good when you're naked, your leg shaving, nicked, your leg shaving. Yeah, they're for like you see like I know in like the 70s, it's like a Grade Brady or any of those things. If they cut their face shaving, they'd put like a piece of toilet paper on it.
yeah, yeah,
The good thing about most of those shaving nicks is it's like they heal up in 10 minutes.
yeah. Well, you get that little have you ever tried one of those? It's called a styptic pencil. It's a little, just a cylinder of this weird substance, and you touch it, and it causes the bleeding to stop immediately, and it stings like a mofo.
It seems like the vets used to use that on my dogs if they clipped her quick too bad, you know.
Ah,
Um, so my dogs are. I'm lucky because the dogs I've got now they bite their nails.
ah.
So knock on wood, I've never had to trim a nail. Um,
Well, they run around outside too, so they kind of
yeah, but
get
there's no
back.
cement or anything.
They didn't have cement back in the caveman days, and the dogs have been around forever.
Yeah, I guess so. Um, but I mean, I had an Irish setter back in the '90s named Lucky, and his would grow like Howard Hughes. They'd grow into almost circles if you didn't get it. It
Mm.
was terrible because if you don't maintain them, then they're quick grows too, and it makes it harder to cut their nails. So that
Ah.
became a nightmare. So I'm hoping that whatever dog I get to, when
Yeah, I
Captain,
don't know if you can hear that, but all of a sudden I'm hearing the old Soviet Union national anthem coming from the other room.
no,
Da, 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 da.
no, but they learn
Nice,
the
Johnny.
behavior. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping whatever. different new dog I might end up, that Lucy teaches that dog to bite its nails
Ah,
too. And the problem is they also learn to be afraid of things that they shouldn't be afraid of. Captain wasn't afraid of thunder until Frilly taught him to be afraid of thunder. Lucy wasn't afraid of thunder until Captain taught her to be afraid of thunder. Now they're all petrified of it. And same thing with sneezes. They're scared to death of sneezes, which is totally stupid.
are you like me? You sneeze more in the summertime than in the wintertime?
Probably.
Sure.
It's probably allergies,
Yeah.
things in the air. It's like a salt stick. Ratchet had one for when he shaved. If you knew him, though, that was rare. He usually let his beard grow. You know, when he was in Treble Clef, he was mostly clean shaven, or he might have had a very trimmed goatee. But yeah, later in life, Ratchet had like a Yosemite Sam mustache and beard going.
Yeah, because I tried it and I just got sick of looking at all that gray hair. Plus, my beard hair comes in like Brillo, and it was not.
I've never had a really good facial hair,
Yeah.
but I think it's about 2010 I stopped growing one because it started coming in a little gray.
Yeah.
I think that's when I stopped. You know, eventually I probably won't be able to pull the Terry Summer thing off anymore. And once I get that stage, I wouldn't mind going for the Kenny Rogers thing. Um, as long as you got a good full head of hair,
Yeah.
I think the whippy big kind of white hair with a beard might look kind of good. Um, when you first met him, he shaved his head. Yeah, that sounds like him. He's never had long hair, except I guess, yeah, later in life when his beard grew, his hair kind of got long. I guess. Boy, wouldn't he have been somebody on this show? Goodness.
See, I'm never going to shave my head because I'm going to turn into him.
Well, you kind of do anyway. Yeah, if I put a little when you get mad. Yeah.
I'm already
What is
scary
the
looking.
time marker here? This is the closest we've got to a wrong channel. Wrong channel. Precious moment.
I think we are an hour 37.
Hour and 37. I'll try to remember that. Uh, hasn't been a very funny show. It's tough doing it with just the two of us.
I think it was funny. Look at that guy. He was funny.
For
See, now
the
that's
fat
where I
kid.
kind of, I think I had too much hair. I think it kind of went almost to like there, and I think the slightly receding. I think it looks a little better.
Too much. It's just kind of a weird haircut. And I'm not clowning on you because I had stupidest haircuts in the world when I was a kid. That's in fact about 12 years ago when I was in Colorado, my grandma was complaining about my long hair, and Darren just flat out told her the reason his hair is long is because you gave him stupid haircuts when he was growing up and gave him a complex, and he's absolutely right. If I could have grown up with kind of regular looking hair like I wanted, I probably wouldn't have long hair now. Wendy said she can't picture me with facial hair. I've got at least one profile pic where I've got some on my Facebook. It's an early picture. It's actually one I did with Treble Clef, but I cropped my face out. Um,
Ah,
yeah, it's not really my style. Like I said, I would only really get a beard if I just totally like. You know how some people when they get older they like no longer have chins and it's just kind of their neck goes to their mouth. If I get
yeah.
like that, I might grow a beard to kind of give myself like a chin appearance. No, but I have to get there first before thinking about that. I'll
Yeah.
enjoy things as I've got them and as long as I need them. You're all right, Tony.
Right.
I do notice it. Gary, our drummer, he kind of did that a little bit. His kind of chin disappeared, but he's like 70 or 71 now.
Oh my
He
God.
still looks good. He still looks like Gary. It's just people get the little bit different when they get 20 years older. Um,
Oh boy, I'll be 70 soon enough. Hitting 60, 65 next March.
well, you
And I
know,
could,
being 70 now, that's like being 55 in 1970. You know,
uh,
and look at all those Hollywood people back then. They were like in their mid 40s and they look 65.
well, they all died. Like Errol Flynn was 50 when he died. Friggin' Bogart was 57. Um, I think uh, Clark Gable was 59 when he passed away. He passed away at age 59, and he managed to get his wife pregnant. He was healthy enough to get her pregnant, and then he kicked the bucket.
I mean, that's what made him kick the bucket. Um,
Maybe. And then so the son is born like 2 weeks after I was, John Clark Gable.
hey, we can
So
make that into a sitcom where the guy
yeah.
he's making a whoopee and he floofies from a heart attack and he ends up being reincarnated as the fetus that he produces with her.
Ah,
So it's like that's disgusting.
yeah, yeah.
What are you doing?
Oh.
Uh,
But it's like the dude's got a famous father who he never met.
I was about to say that Buddy Holly had one, but she miscarried when she got the
Yeah,
news.
yeah.
That's sad. I didn't want to get sad.
Our friend Songsmith Dennis Holzebrook, his father passed away in a car accident when he was like 2 or 3. So he really had no memories of him either.
I suppose that's a lot of people don't know their dads, or a lot of them might have run off. I would have almost rather had my dad something like that happen than have one that runs off, because then you don't have
Yeah.
that animosity. Because I mean, I've still got animosity for my dad. He didn't totally run off. We got to see him once a year, but
Yeah.
still fucked us up. Anyway, happy thoughts.
Yeah, there you go.
So how about that Iranian conflict? No, never mind. How about the um, I just saw a little video on something I knew about before, but it was about the
Ah.
zombies.
Oh yeah.
Their Odyssey and Oracle album.
And he's talking about the band, not the frequent movie.
Oh, I hate
Just,
zombie movies. I don't know what the obsession with that stuff is, but I'm talking about the '60s band. They were always kind of had trouble making it because it was tough to compete with the Beatles and the Who and the Stones and stuff. But they came up with this basically Odyssey and Oracle. They released it in '68, and they were broke. They didn't really have any money, but they got a slot in Abbey Road Studio. So they basically learned every single lick on that entire album. And they went in there no nonsense and basically just did it live and did all of the tracks. And it was I guess it was their best work. And so their key song that they tried to make a single was Care of Cell Block 44
oh
or
yeah.
something.
Oh crap, I forget the exact title. I know
It
the
was
song.
basically that. It was like that title. It was basically he was writing a letter to, I guess, his girlfriend or friend who's about to be released from prison, which is a weird subject matter. But the music itself is great. It was just a great pop song,
Oh
but it
yeah.
flopped, and because it
Oh.
flopped, their record label basically just kind of dropped them, or they wouldn't release their album to the U.S. And believe it or not, Al Cooper, who I've totally talked about 40,000 times on this show. I told him he's the Forrest Gump of rock. And I said this before, he's the Forrest. He's in everything.
Hmm.
He was playing keyboard for George Harrison when he got the news that John Lennon floofied. And
Oh
the
my
song they
goodness.
were working on ended up becoming all those years ago. And that
Oh,
that keyboard riff that drove the song was Al Cooper's thing. He he was he basically was just a guest watching Bob Dylan do a thing in the early '60s, and he snuck onto a keyboard basically illegally, just behind everybody. He got on a keyboard and started playing it, and he was just a teenager.
hmm.
And when they were in the control room listening, they were like, "What the hell is this?" Just and Bob just like, "Shut up, let me hear it." And he heard it, and that it ended up becoming, that "How does it feel?" That was that keyboard that drove it. That was Al Cooper's, and he was just he was everywhere. He did the soundtrack for Crime Story for the TV show after the
Yeah.
first season when Tom Rundgren left, and it's just like he did everything. He's the one that signed Leonard Skinner. He's the one that discovered them, and it just never stopped. So it was no surprise to find out that he heard that Odyssey and Oracle album that had flopped, and he told his record company, you got to uh, distribute this. I don't care how much it costs. And that's when Time of the Season became a hit off the album, but they'd already broke up, which is the sad part. And they couldn't get them back together because the lead singer, he became an insurance salesman or something, and Argent, the keyboard player, started Argent, his band that did Hold Your Head Up eventually. But I would have I mean, I like Hold Your Head Up. It's a pretty good classic rock song, but I would have loved to have had a couple more albums from the Zombies. They ended up getting back together and releasing new music. I played one of their newer songs on a Fun Hour, the last Fun
Oh,
Hour.
okay.
I thought we'd play Fun Hours on Steve's station, but I don't. Steve's gonna be a butthole. I guess not. Steve, if you're watching this, butthole. But I
No,
still
yeah,
love
it's
you. You're
actually
still a
doing.
friend.
He's
You're
actually
still a friend,
doing.
Steve. If you're watching this, still my friend. But
Well, I just don't want to have to like grab the both of you and start banging your heads together.
it's not like we're not having a feud.
All right.
I love Steve. He's a friend. We're not mad. I'm not mad. But I'm not going to patron his show every day if he's not going to make an effort here. That's
Yeah.
all. I still, still consider him a friend. I still hope that we can all meet up at a Comic Con soon. Too soon. This year's going by so fast.
No,
It's
yeah,
because I've had so much
we're
to
already in
do.
the second half. We're in the third quarter.
I
We're in the
know.
second.
I've had so much to do this year, finishing the film and getting this house fixed up that I think that's just made everything go by so fast.
That it just goes by so damn fast. Anyway,
It goes by fast anyway, doesn't it?
shit. Because what you got to do when you turn 65, you actually have to 6 months before then you have to start the application process for Medicare, and so I'm going to have to do that this September.
Oh, you'll be able to go to a doctor again.
Well, I have insurance now. I just don't really, there's the copays and the deductibles and all that crap, and I don't know what Medicare is probably going to be a pain in the ass too.
Well, it's almost worthless unless you have a big deal. I mean,
Yeah,
a $3,000 deductible, or ever since that Obamacare came out, the deductibles went up to like $3,000.
yeah,
My deductible's like $6,000, or it went up to almost $7,000. But when I had that operation a few years ago, that was like $116,000.
yeah.
Came in
That's
handy.
your money's worth.
Yeah,
Yeah,
my
you got
money's
your
worth.
money.
Plus, it was the first year. It was the only year I'd never done this, but I bought a supplemental critical illness policy.
Ooh.
And I don't, it was just part of my open enrollment. Let me just check this and just let me get that too. And boy, that covered the deductible and then some. I ended up, instead of owing $6,000, I got it. They paid me like $7,500, so I made a $1,500 profit on getting my innards taken out. The problem
Yeah,
is they had this pulse thing that they called it. It's this thing I had to do so much prep work. I had to go to Jacksonville so many times before the surgery. And one time they do all these tests. So they gave me this paperwork saying this is what you're going to pay out of pocket, and it said $6,000. I'm like, and I'm not exaggerating. The next step after she gave me that was to take my blood pressure.
Oh boy, no, that's not what you do.
Yeah, I know.
That's
It's
not how that
exactly
and
what they
it's not
did.
how any of it works.
Yeah. And not only, and the other thing that they did that pissed me off is I had Barb, bless her heart, she took me to 5 in the morning, took me to get my operation, took me all the way to Jacksonville. And I'm in my pajamas going into there. Nothing on me. I mean, I've got my pajamas on, but I'm just saying no card or anything.
Yeah.
And they wanted like a deposit of like thousands of dollars. And I'm like thinking, when you did this pulse thing for like and did all these tests and all this prep work, would that have occurred to you to say bring a check or bring your credit card? You know, uh, unfortunately, Barb kind of let me borrow it, and I took care of that. But still, that's not something you do. It's stupid.
Hmm.
But they gave me a penthouse suite to recover. That was kind of neat. Had a view of the downtown Jacksonville, the skyline, and that was neat. But I was disoriented, I think, because of the medication, and I didn't know which direction I was looking at.
Yeah.
This would be a cool costume.
Yeah.
No, I bought that 3D printer so I could make costumes, and I made my gator head and a little lion head, and that's it. And I just put it away. I guess I just
Yeah.
needed what I needed it for at the time, and that was it. I guess it's because I'm not good at it. If I had better luck with it and it didn't always clog, I probably would have. I don't know. I just got into other things. I think that movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, 3D printing it's still.
It is a skill. It's not just something you can. I kind of figured I was green about it. I kind of figured that, well, if you make a 3D model, you can print it. It's not that easy.
Yeah.
There's a definitely a bridge between doing that model and the printer being able to handle it.
Oh, right.
And I haven't figured that out exactly yet. Because the printer came with a little file where it would print a little owl, and I printed that owl, and boy, that thing is as smooth as a baby's butt. It is just
Yeah.
a smooth model, and I'm like, well, the models that I make are smooth. Why do they come out kind of rough and kind of nasty? I don't know. See, the best thing to do is to have a friend that's good at it that can help you. You
Mm,
know, I don't have any friends
that's true.
that do 3D printing anyway. I got friends, but they don't have 3D printers.
There's probably some setting that's like buried in a menu somewhere that you missed.
Well, there's a lot of settings, and that's part of it.
Yeah.
But there's also a program that I have that smooths things out, that helps it. Because the printers, they don't like holes. If there's things in your mesh that don't make sense or something, it'll screw things up. I don't know. It's something I probably just need to work at. But I watched lots of tutorials on YouTube, and I don't know. I made my gator head. I made what I needed at the time. I
Yeah.
really haven't thought about it. But it's a big printer. It takes up a lot of real estate in this house, so probably would do me good to start using it again. And I don't know
Yeah.
how long those filament reels last.
Oh
They
boy.
get water. If they get water in them, well, I could put them in the dehydrator. I guess. I guess that would salvage them. Uh,
Oh, I remember having a color inkjet printer, and if you didn't use it, it would just you couldn't use it.
did you get new?
Yeah, every time you wanted to print something, you pretty much had to buy new ink. Like, screw that crap.
Yeah, I've got the EcoTank printer now. That expensive one. I sure have been using it a lot. They lie about you only having to replace the cartridges once a year. I've had to buy so many of the tanks, but I've been doing a lot of printing. Uh, so get those
Oh, could play
dogs.
with the damn bears. Look at these
Oh, they're
freaking
bear. I
things.
thought they were fat dogs.
They pretty much are at that point.
Don't tease the. Oh, he's teasing the bears. Is it enough that they're not eating you? You're going to tease them? I guess that's how you make dancing bears to get on the Ed Sullivan show. You got to tease them
I
somehow.
guess. In other words, on Facebook they always give you those heartwarming stories about rescuing a wild animal and all that. And there's this one guy, and he found a bear cub, and it was all alone. He brings the bear cub home, and he's giving the bear cub milk and whatever crapola. And then one day, the mama bear just shows up, busts open the door, and grabs the cub and takes it, goes away. And they have one picture of the cub going, bye.
I'm glad it had a funny ending and not a scary one. I was expecting a depressing
Well, it
ending.
was scary for a little while there, but the mama just grabbed the cub and took off. Didn't
That's
like
pretty.
do it.
How did she grab it with her mouth or with her hands?
I don't know. He actually busted in the house. Didn't seem very happy at all.
Well, glad she didn't kill the guy. That's good.
Yeah.
Uh, what about the one with the? Remember the dumpster, the cub that was in the dumpster.
That was so interesting. That was somebody thinking on his feet.
What happened there? I forgot. It had a ladder and a dumpster, right? What happened?
Yeah, it was what happened was there were because you see the guy and they don't explain anything to begin with. It's just a pickup truck, ladder in the bed, guy standing in the back of the truck, and the guy driving the truck. They drive the truck up to the dumpster. The guy takes the ladder, sticks it down into the dumpster, and then as soon as the ladder's like in the dumpster, he jumps back in the bed of the truck and they take off. And you, what's that all about? And then like a minute later, you see the little bear cub coming out of the dumpster, and the mama bear is there because they didn't want to stick around because the mama bear was there.
Right.
But they did it just enough. The cubs figured out how to get out of the out of the dumpster and then back with their mommy. So it was a happy ending. But how do you rescue bear cubs when the mom's around and you can't like talk to her? Look, mommy, it's okay. I'm going to go help you can't do that. They don't understand English.
Yeah. I guess the best thing is they can understand your vibe and your intentions.
I guess, but it's
They,
still
they they can smell
because they
fear.
don't expect humans to be nice. Wild animals just generally don't. Hey, Keaton, the cool guy.
Hey Keaton, how you doing?
Oh, we got some cool guys around.
We were actually discussing a Transforama video. Um, uh, I don't know if anyone thought of anything since we left off, but
It's tough because the problem is you got to that point, and then how to make a punchline, I
yeah,
don't
we're trying to make a
know.
punchline for a video.
Yeah.
So basically, to brush up on it really quick, um, so it's almost Terry's time to turn to get transformed into something cool, but of course it's Terry, so it doesn't really happen. That's part of the joke. But
Yeah.
Rob's trying to test some special shorts on him that will grow with the transformation because the clothes always rip. So
Mhm.
when he shoots them, it ricochets off the shorts and hits Tracy and Rob, and basically they become. Say what did we figure? It was like a 2000 era Corvette.
Yeah.
Tracy becomes the front of the Corvette, where basically her butt and her legs are still human like, and she's stuck that way, but the front and the wheels, that. And his Rob's got his regular head and kind of arms, but his butt ends up being the butt of the car.
Yeah.
So he's able to coax Terry into trying to get them normal. So she ends up becoming like the full Corvette, and then Rob, I think, from what we got, he kind of becomes because if you're familiar with Transforama, the people become like 15 foot tall because they become the mass of the car before they become the car. So Rob, I think where we got it was he gets stuck as this 15 foot tall metal Rob, but I don't know. It doesn't have to turn out that way.
No, I just had a thought.
Okay.
The two halves combine, and then they start arguing with each other. No, it's me. No, it's me. And it's like you remember that movie with Steve Martin, All of Me?
No, I never saw it.
It was two people occupying the same body. And it was this crazy old lady, and it was Steve Martin, and it was like one was trying to control half the body, and the other one was like, "Stop that!" And then it's a fun.
Oh, so you're saying, well, so her legs would kind of just disappear altogether.
Yeah, they would eventually just become the car, but it would be both of them,
See what you're saying? It's an
and they would
idea.
be arguing with each other. It's like no, 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 and you could see the thing like bouncing around. It. No, no, I want to.
Yeah, that could work.
No.
But it would be a little weird, Rob's head disappearing altogether, and you know what I'm saying? Uh,
Well, he'd be disappearing up her. Well, you have to make it so it's not dirty.
it's getting a little weird because she's gonna have a big old butt. I'm kind of doing people a favor that like that kind of stuff. Uh, but but uh,
What?
I like the arguing element, Tony. I like that part of it. I'm not sure about them combining because I wouldn't because they've already got the parts, but we were suggesting that like his whole head would just be gone, which I don't know. Eaton says, I have a friend named Holly Connor. Is Holly watching this? Hi, Holly.
Hey,
Or is that a Land of the Lost reference? Because
run, Holly! Oh no, wait, no,
yeah, run, Holly. Because yeah, this is from our Saturdalia. The background here is from our Saturdalia film, which at least this scene was from a Land of the Lost parody. A Land of the Nun. It was fun to revisit these skyscapes. I think some of it was very pretty, you know, especially the Land of the Lost stuff in Saturdalia. I think
Yeah.
it would have been, uh, I don't know. I guess it was influenced by the real Land of the Lost from the '70s. Their matte paintings that they did and stuff. Those are really
Yeah.
pretty.
See, I like this because it's instead of watching home movies from your own home movies or whatever. This is like home movies from people you never heard of, which I think makes it more fun.
I've got home movies. Maybe one day we'll play some of mine, but
Yeah,
Gottschalk would have to be here because I think he's in at least one of them.
yeah, that's true.
Um, There's this so washed out. I like to see if I can do some like digital enhancing of them.
Yeah, you can do crazy crap nowadays. Like
I
that guy who
guess,
makes most of the
but
ones that I
some of
that
it's
I use.
AI, which is just fake. It's just something else pretending to be what yours is. You know, it's like it's redrawing it. It's like reimagining your photograph.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I hate AI anyway. Oh, hey Keaton. Of course, Keaton. He's the one that would always want me to draw him and his girlfriend. Sorry,
Oh,
I didn't make the name connection there for a second. But good to see you again. So, was she born blind? Did it happen later? I always wondered that. I would hate to be, I guess, born that way where you don't uh, understand, I guess, colors. Or do they? I don't know. I find it interesting.
yeah. That was like my dad was totally deaf from a motorcycle accident, but he was already 19 years old.
But at least he got to hear music and know he could still hear songs in his head, probably.
Yeah.
Although there would just be 40s songs and nobody wants to hear those.
40s. He lost his hearing in 1925, 100 years ago.
So the songs that be in his head like, you know,
Hmm.
how was it? 5'2", eyes of blue. Oh, what those 5 foot could do. Has anybody seen my girl? Was that pretty good?
Probably,
No, no.
I guess.
Oh, yes, she was born blind. Oh goodness. Well, tell her we said hi. Um, I would. I wonder if somebody. I would imagine it's somebody who's blind that they have much more of appreciation for music, or they can hear a lot more of the nuances. Well, of course they would. All of the other. It seems like all of the other senses would be much more. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Well, the thing is, I think they don't actually get more sensitive. It's just that you pay more attention to them.
What's that behind you, Tony? A volcano? What is that?
It's because they were doing Mount Rushmore, so I think if they're driving through North Dakota or whatever, they're out there in the Great Plains.
Yeah, my ex sister-in-law. She just moved in South Dakota,
Ah,
and the pictures. She's got like a little farm, and the pictures. It looks like a nice place. But
yeah,
it's in the summer. I can't imagine that in place in the winter. Imagine if you had to work outside. You know, if you had like a job outside, like that guy there. It,
yeah.
that was your job, was to walk around fields. You know, it would be
Yeah,
like, you know, you're trying to find cow poop. And imagine doing that like when it's 60 below zero.
yeah.
See, that looks like Colorado to me. It's ugly.
Independence Rock.
I hate Colorado. Independence Rock.
Yeah.
Boy, they're really digging the bottom of the barrel for tourist destinations, I guess.
That's back when you just hung the desert water bag on the front of your car and drove and
Yes.
cows,
I thought they were antelope or something.
I'm sure.
Same difference. Boy, this has been a shitty show.
Yeah. Fort Laramie, there you go. Old Bedlam.
Have you heard 2004 tsunami? Are you talking about like the one that hit Japan and caused all that flooding? That all those cars were getting washed around and stuff.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Oh, yeah. But they had the nuclear plant
Yeah,
that was,
nuclear plant. That was the big story, wasn't it? Did that end up causing the disaster they said it would with the nuclear
probably
plant?
not because we're all still here.
Well, I figured you. I just didn't know if people still swim in the Pacific Ocean without getting leukemia
It's
or
a
something.
big ocean.
Well, it was a big nuclear plant.
Yeah, but that big. And then the ocean's like this big.
Yeah, but didn't you see the China Syndrome movie?
Yeah.
Oh, you said that was in 2011. I can't keep up with it.
So, Keith, is that a song, a movie, a stage play, a film strip, a
Boop.
diddle-doo,
There
diddle-doo,
was one
diddle?
tsunami. Remember that tsunami that hit that island and went all the way to the other side?
Yeah,
Remember that? And I think that was the first time that, because everyone thought that tsunamis were like they are in the movies, where it's like this big wave going over the Golden Gate Bridge, but it wasn't like that at all. It's just like
yeah. The water level rises.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it's just like a tidebreaker coming in that ends up just kind of sweeping everything away.
yeah. And oftentimes they'll actually, it's not when they come in that they do the damage; it's when they come back out. They just they just scrape everything out into
Oh
the
yeah, I
sea.
didn't think about it that way.
Because that happened in Hilo, Hawaii. Two major ones, 46 and 60.
But they had. I know that they say that before this tsunami, it's like the water gets swept away, and then you can see all the
That happened in
grundles.
46 because the sea level just dropped. and nobody knew what the hell was going on. And there was a school that was right by the ocean, and they go out and they're starting to look at the ocean, the basically the seabed that was exposed, and say, "Oh wow, look at it!" Trying to grab fish and all that shit. And then of course the tsunami comes and
Yikes.
wiped out half the school.
But, and ironically, that research guy's papers were lost in the.
Yeah,
That's a In Search of with Spock. Remember
yeah,
Leonard
yeah.
Nimoy did that In Search of show.
Oh yeah.
Um,
With the with the turtleneck. Didn't he always like wear turtlenecks and stuff, and like corduroy sport
well, of
coats?
course, it was the '70s, and he didn't want to
Yeah.
wear his Spock shirt. I guess it would have been better if he wore his Spock shirt, but um,
Well, he wrote a book that said, "I am not Spock," and then 20 years later, he writes another book that says, "I am Spock." Yeah.
yeah. Well, there was one episode that was about a tsunami. It was a researcher, at least part of the episode in Japan, I guess, and he was on some footbridge with his research papers, and they had the tsunami coming at him, and he's like, ah! They had him scream. They said, ironically, his research papers were lost in the flood, and we just thought that was so funny. Ironically, and it's like, and Steve, bless his heart, he found that clip for a Ron
Huh?
Channel show, and he actually, like, ironically, I don't know how he found it. Uh,
Oh, if you want to watch a movie that's just a pure time capsule, I don't know, I don't even remember the plot, but it was a movie called Baffled, and Leonard Nimoy was a race car driver, and all this weird paranormal crap is happening, and he's trying to understand it and all this stuff. And but it was all, he had the turtleneck and the big shades and all that, it was all like, we're the coolest people ever, and aren't you wish you were this cool. And but it's more one of those atmosphere and style movies than it is, like an actual story. I gotta
cool.
find
Oh,
it.
and hi, Holly. She said hello.
Hi, Ollie.
I feel kind of bad because uh, I feel bad because if you miss out on the visuals, but I mean,
Yeah,
Apology None is we do tunes instead of just cartoons.
yeah,
So I mean, if you go like Spotify or any, you can listen to my music, Apology None music. Uh,
yeah.
got a brand new album, a double album called Hideaway. It's like '60s music, so you kind of gotta like the old the retro stuff, like the I don't know. And Tony likes to squeeze the Charmin.
Yeah. Well, actually, I mean, I've told this story before. When I first discovered Apology None, um, the browser on my computer was going through a phase where it just didn't like playing videos. Every so often you get the browser's always updating, and then that particular time, the update just it made the videos all choppy and crappy. And so I just listened to because you had a player widget on the apologynone.com website, and I listened to the music. God, it blew me away. So I was into the music before I was into the cartoons.
Oh, thank you. What?
Yeah,
Uh, well, the music came first, really. The
yeah.
cartoons came later. I mean, Paulie Janon was a band. The the animated stuff, I don't know. That just kind of came later on. You know, um, just kind of ended up where it ended up. So, you know, that's why I kind of called the new film. I wonder for myself. I call that the film track to the Hideaway album. You know,
Hmm.
Holly's
Rushmore.
YouTube
That's
channel
that's
is
North Dakota, isn't it?
Holly Connor.
Ah,
I'll have to check it out. I'll have to remember it, Holly Connor, like Sarah
Hmm.
Connor, because I sometimes I don't get access to these chats afterwards, or sometimes YouTube gives them to us, and sometimes I don't.
You got to wait for they eventually show up, but it doesn't happen right away. I
I
don't know
think they
why it
should
has
take
to like
Roosevelt off the Rushmore and put in like R2D2 or C3PO or
yeah.
something, because he was Pretty iconic.
Well, he was the hardest one to do because they had to put the glasses on him.
Oh, well, why did they have to put the glasses on him?
Because it was his trademark. It wouldn't nobody would have recognized him without the damn glasses.
I'm surprised. If this was done, if Mount Rushmore was done in like 1980, they'd have put John Lennon up there with his round glasses, and
There you go.
they probably would have given him that haircut he had for like a week, whereas he looked like Animal from the Muppets.
Ah.
I've got a Muppet action figure thing on my bookcase. Did
Ah.
you gave that to me, didn't you, Wendy Lou? Wasn't it Ratchet's? Because I'd forgot about it. And I was cleaning the case for the first time in like 10 years, and I was like, I came across it like, wait, look at this.
Oh.
What on earth are you watching? What is that?
That is a trailer. Now that remember, it's trailer, so it's public domain, Mister YouTube. This is Baffled, starring Leonard Nimoy.
What year?
73. It was
Was
going to be a
was
TV series, but it didn't
oh,
pan out.
that's a good idea. About the same time he was doing the Star Trek animated series, right?
And so you got the turtleneck.
Hey, that's was his trademark, huh? That was
Yeah.
everybody's trademark in the '70s. Turtleneck and a blazer.
Yeah.
I like that look. I'm surprised they don't. Now he looked goofy in that hat, like Gilligan.
Well, they're still kind of finding their way. I think he was on Mission Impossible at this point.
Doesn't know how to drive. He's a Vulcan.
Yeah.
Like I heard that a million.
Yeah,
Uh,
he did have 64 Riviera.
yeah, he did. It'd have been better if it was a '65 with the hidden headlights. That's what made that car. Was that? Never mind. I don't want to get into car talk. Wendy Lou's number one too.
Yeah,
Yes, I did. It's
once you've
Floyd Pepper, the
chatted a
bass
little
player,
bit,
if I remember correctly. Well, that makes sense then. But it was neat. It did it. You did the trick. It reminded me of Ratchet. And I'm like, oh,
ah,
I just hadn't been down there in so long because I don't watch DVDs. That's where I keep the DVDs. I don't watch those anymore. So I don't really go that close to it until it was time to dust everything off. Um,
yeah, yeah, okay, Mr. Train, we know you're a train. We figured it out.
so I went up to the attic and I was looking through the insulation for stuff and I found a Jackie Gleason doll. I guess it was from the previous owner.
In the insulation.
I'm just making things up because I don't know what the hell
Oh, okay.
else to do. Uh, Now, I actually did when I was 12. I did move into a house in Colorado where I was looking. I don't know how I found them, but in the insulation was two, not one, but two
Two.
original issue twin mill Hot Wheels cars. One
Oh my
was the
goodness.
metallic red, and one was metallic green. And like a dumb fuck, I just put them with the rest of my cars and ruined
Ah.
them. And gosh dang, they were in mint condition. They were worth $1,000. Not like I would have sold them, but they would have been, you know. I just saw what looked like a toy car going through some Legos.
That was an old race car. That's this guy. Because he's a race car driver. Yeah, because they got to make him, how will we make him cool? Well, let's have him be a race car driver.
Yes.
And he's got to have leather couches
Now that kind of
and
makes you cool.
a
I
little
mean,
bitty TV set. Those were something else because a portable TV, oh my God, they cost like half about as much as a used car.
so the critical drinker likes F1. He said it really was a feel good movie, kind of like the the Maverick shotgun Maverick movie. whatever. Uh, I'm not plugging it. I hate movies. I hope they all fail, even
Oh,
mine.
okay.
Well, not mine. Mine
Oh.
can do okay.
So Zep One is this movie now?
Huh?
The movie you said
Yeah, there's a
you
movie
said
called
word.
F1. It's a racing movie with Brad Pitt.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
No, that yeah, hell with it.
yeah, I have no interest in seeing any movie anymore. So I don't root for anything. It was just interesting critical drinker liking something. It doesn't usually
Ah,
like
okay.
stuff.
Well, maybe he was drinking a little bit too critically at that point.
He's pretty good. Have you ever seen this channel?
No, no.
He's probably the best movie critic out there because he's funny.
Ah,
Pretty much tells it like it is. I like him. There hasn't been a lot to like lately. And,
yeah.
I guess there was Deadpool versus Wolverine, and there was Top Gun Maverick. I guess it's just not very many movies that are worth watching. It's not like the '90s when movies were actually pretty good back then.
Yeah.
You had True Lies and Total Recall and different things that were fun. It really took the fun out of everything.
Yeah.
Uh, Wendy Lou said yes. Floyd Pepper. I read
Yeah,
that
the
one.
great Flint Pepper.
When you said Pepper, I almost think of Sheriff Pepper from James Bond. That was
Right.
terrible. And what I can't understand is he ruined, almost single-handedly ruined Live and Let Die, and then they said he ruined Live and Let Die. Let's put him in the next movie and make it in Thailand, which will make it even more unbelievable. It's
And get a slide whistle.
Well, you know what? By the time the slide whistle happened, let's be honest, that movie had already totally jumped the shark. It was
And
just,
we get tattoo in there and put him in a basket.
I know. The only thing that would have saved that movie, only thing that would
Now,
have saved it.
if they would have gotten a really, really top-notch actor, somebody like Christopher Lee.
They did have him with the three belly buttons. I I think at the end, the only thing that would have saved that movie is if he was on the boat and he threw that tattoo overboard in the middle of the ocean and said, "Knick knack, you've been paddywhacked."
Ah, okay.
That would have been the perfect
Like it,
ending.
yeah. But you didn't like it when the other guy kicked the car off the cliff with one foot.
No, I thought it was unneeded because
Ah,
he put the key. That was a different movie, but he put the okay. This was from For Your Eyes Only.
yeah,
So there's a guy with glasses that's a bad guy doing bad things. Well, he's in
right.
this Mercedes and somehow he ends up teetering over a cliff. And James Bond flicks a key into the car and he says, I guess, does this belong to you? He flicks the key in and the car starts to wobble. That alone would have been just fine if the car wobbled and fell over because of the weight of the key. That's total slapstick. But just as it did, Bond kicked it over, kicked the car. I
Yeah.
thought that was totally unnecessary and unlike his personality. He should have just let the key do its job. It was dumb. And also, to make it worse, the guy floofies when he goes off the cliff, and then Bond makes a joke about it to his friends. Oh, he won't, I guess he's afraid of heights. Some stupid joke that didn't even land. No pun intended. He should have said, I guess he should have always wear your seatbelt. Because if the guy had wore a seatbelt, he would have survived. He wouldn't have fallen
Oh
out
yeah,
of the
that was
car.
that was a S-Class Mercedes, where this one of the safest cars you could buy at that point.
Yeah, well, I mean, he would have been fine, but he fell out the window halfway down the car, or the dummy. I hope it's a dummy. But he'd have been fine if he did if he had blah. It's just
Yeah,
bad writing. It's all it is. It's bad writing. Yeah, now they're just
which is too bad
remaking
because
movies.
otherwise, that's my favorite of the Roger Moore movies is For Your Eyes Only.
Mine too. It's almost like Our Majesty's Secret Service. It started getting more serious again. Uh,
Yeah. Well, that and the French girl, the Bond girl was the French actress with the super long hair.
oh, and they turned out it was a guy all the time. It was a
No,
trans.
no,
Yeah.
no,
Uh, so
no, no, and oh, also no.
okay. Uh,
Jesus Christ.
wow, I got you. I pushed your button. Um, yeah, now they're just remaking movies. Well, the whole thing is there's one called Elio that Pixar just put out, and it bombed.
Yeah.
And they're like, and now Pixar's blaming everybody.
Damn it. Because you don't want it to auto go to the go to the wait a second, something moved. Go to the YouTube the streaming I see it moving. I don't think
Did our YouTube do anything?
it's moving. I think we're back up.
Hey, everybody, if we're here.
Yeah, I'm watching the captioning and see if it's picking up what I'm saying. And if Wendy, if you're still there, you could say, yeah, I'm seeing my words on the captioning.
Oh, good. Well,
So
sorry about
just
that. I
gets a
hope
sec.
you're all still here. That my I don't know, my modem flipped out. I had to reset it.
Yeah.
Glad we're back up. While we were while I was trying to get it to go, I was thinking more about that Transforama thing.
Ah.
I was thinking of Tony's idea, how to get it to work. Um,
Did you think? Oh, there's Wendy. Hi, Wendy. Thanks for sticking around.
Strange. I guess I gotta refresh my YouTube thing to see the chat. Shouldn't affect the stream if I do that.
Well, if you're the viewing page, yeah.
Yeah, just the YouTube page. I was just
Yeah.
refreshing it. Sorry, everybody. That stuff happens.
Oh yeah.
At least it happened in the last half hour of the show. Yep. Hi, Wendy. I'm here. Hey, Tony.
Yes.
What if
Freeze that.
Terry gives your idea to them? Hey, why don't you just bump up to each other and maybe you'll become one car? That way we got your idea and maybe it doesn't exactly happen that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because they're not going to go for it, of course. Maybe Terry even starts trying to shove him. It would be funny.
Yeah.
Um, I guess we could end it there. But since Rob, people wanted Rob to become something, I was kind of wanting to throw him a bone.
Yeah. They'd be kind of pushing each other. No, go this way. No, that way. Stop that.
Yeah.
Ow.
Yeah, but see, if with your thing, if they actually were combined, he wouldn't be able to talk because he's got no head anymore. That's my problem with it. Is it looks like because half of their
Well, they
bodies.
would both be sort of fighting for control of the whole thing. It would be both of theirs. Wow.
What?
You're speechless. I'm just seeing your lips kind of vibrate like.
I was trying to picture it because I'm not sure where. Are you picturing them as one car with both?
Yeah, one car. Yeah.
Okay. Because I know that was what I thought
But
maybe
both fighting for control of it, both like occupying the same space.
Yeah. I guess you know how I am with people. The reason I do cars so much is because they've got faces.
Yeah.
And that's where I have a problem is he would no longer have a head or a face and still be
No, no,
talking.
no. Both entities would be fighting for control of the entire car. So I'd be looking one way and there'd be Rob talking, and then would like you'd see it like looking the other way and it'd be her talking, and you see what I mean? Kind of a battle for control.
Yeah, because she's the front of the car. He's the butt
No,
of the
we're
car.
I'm they are both the whole car.
Okay. I guess it's gone over my head. I can't picture it. It's kind of like somebody made a request to have like one person become a whole hive of different bees. And I said I can't really do that. It's one person per thing. They got one soul, so I can't like make one person into a bunch of things. And I guess I got the
Well,
same
it's the other way
problem with
around.
two people becoming one thing. I've got the same kind of. It makes my brain crossfire. Well, you've got number 3 on you, Tony, with the crown.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, who's number 2?
Well, Wendy's number one. We knew that. It's funny Keaton didn't end up with one of those things.
Yeah, Keaton's here a lot.
Because that just started. I've never noticed that before. So anyway, yeah, I was hoping Gottschalk might be able to pop in at least for the end, but they got him working.
I'm disappointed in that guy. Stupid puts his job over our show.
Yeah. God, everybody hates us. We don't have anybody in the his putt little you guys his putt saw something there. I don't know if he was really paying any close attention to it.
I miss Putt.
Yeah, I don't know what to think about him anymore. Because
I don't
what is
either.
like was not something that you normally kind of just bounce back from. Oh, I'm all better now.
Yeah. Well, yeah. When he said this is the first time I've noticed the numbers and being 1 and 2.
Yeah, this is new, something that YouTube has added, rather than actually fixing anything, they just, oh, let's add some new stuff.
Yeah, I don't have one. You guys are the special ones.
But I have 75 XP now. I didn't even notice it at work on Sunday because we're on the YouTube at work, and I thought I'll chat in there with the peanut gallery. There was one dude in there who was saying, posted in the YouTube chat, how many more items would you sell if you just went to the straight to the price instead of all this blah, blah, blah. And I popped up and I said, the answer to your question is 0.
I figured Gottschalk was probably your only chatter.
No, he doesn't chat in the in the YouTube chat.
Oh, so she didn't actually hear him say she's wearing an extra button on her blouse today.
Now she's not looking at that stuff either. I will screen cap anything of importance and then messenger it to her. Along with all the other things I'm doing for the price of one, half of one. The funny thing is, except for the cars, it looks just the same.
Oh, really? Usually when I see old footage, it's like there's hardly any trees, and then when you even if a neighborhood has the same buildings, it's like there's a million big trees
Yeah.
later on.
Well, see, the thing is, if you plant a tree next to a concrete sidewalk, you don't have to worry because when it grows big enough to bust the crap out of that sidewalk, you can be long. You can be long in your next plane of existence.
Yeah,
It's never going to come back to you
yeah,
that
or
you
at least be in a
planted a
different
tree.
house.
Like probably that those trees there, if they haven't been cut down, they've probably just completely destroyed that sidewalk. And what is it? I don't know if it's just a thing around Southern California, but when you've lived in like suburban neighborhoods that have like streets and sidewalks and those what you guys call boulevards that I never had a name for until I heard you guys calling them boulevards, but people walking down the middle of the street instead of the sidewalk when there's a perfectly good sidewalk. Or is that only a Southern California Hispanic thing?
Yeah, people out here we don't have a lot of sidewalks, so
Yeah.
people just have to walk out in the street unless you're like in a kind of a residential area. You don't have boulevards out there? What about
We haven't.
Ventura?
We just didn't. I'd never. We've never called them anything. We never had names for them. I mean, you can see that's what you're talking about there, where there's grass between the curb and the sidewalk.
I call
That's
those
what.
parkways.
Okay, but okay, Christ.
What?
I've had Midwesterners. They call that the boulevard. Or have you heard that term referring to something? I mean, not a street, which like Sunset Boulevard, obviously, but calling that grassy area a boulevard.
Oh, I've never done that.
Ah,
If there's a stretch of road that's got the center island in it that's got benches and stuff, we call those parkways.
yeah.
Um, which
But
seems to
here,
make
like instead of having the sidewalk be right hard against the curb, you've got a patch of
oh
grass.
yeah, you've got a yeah. That's most of the places I've ever lived. It's been we've had that area because that's the part you gotta mow, even though you don't own it. The city does, but you still gotta mow
Right,
it. Um,
right.
yeah,
But I've heard people, Midwesterners, call it boulevard.
hmm. I haven't heard that, but I guess I could. I don't know the difference between a boulevard and an avenue.
No, it's just naming. Sometimes like the east west will be called all boulevards. The north south will be something else.
Yeah.
I mean, it's some French thing, they want to make it sound fancy. Like the main streets that go across the city part of Los Angeles, like Sunset and Santa Monica, and those are the two big ones that go all the way across. Santa Monica Boulevard, Sunset Boulevard.
I took Sunset all the way from the ghetto town all the way to the coast once.
Me too, yeah. Drive west on Sunset to the sea.
Yeah,
And turn that
did
jungle
that in
music.
a stupid Saturn rental car.
I did that in my MG midget, and that was the time when I had Johnny Rivers, Secret Agent Man, on, and that I learned not to play that song when I'm driving a car, especially on a twisty road.
Yeah, it was a memorable little trip, but it had to have been a lot more fun in a little roadster than
Oh
a
yeah.
rental car. But what can you do? I ended up. I felt bad because the guy that was with me, he was an ELO fan, and I made him late where he missed his plane because I went to
Mhm.
return the car, and
Oh,
Enterprise said I put a scratch on it, and they wanted me to sign a paper, and I'm like, I didn't put a scratch on your car. They're like, it's okay, you already signed a waiver, so all you have to do is sign this paper. I'm not going to sign your paper because I didn't put a scratch on the car. And we went around and around. Finally, they went out and they showed me a record from before, and they're like, "You're right," because we got a record before where they noted the scratch.
mm,
And by that time, my friend had, I had already sent him off, but he still misses. I felt so bad. I'm not going to sign a paper. If I have to sign a waiver for that, I would have taken the car and drove it off a cliff or done something fun with it. I'd go put me on the hook for a scratch. I didn't
yeah.
do. Um, anyway, no putt, no Gottschalk, no Steve.
Yeah.
They're all chickens.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like I don't know what to say, but people, the people who watch it enjoy it. It's just, Lord, it's getting just really having a battle.
Yeah, if anybody out there knows somebody that is a good at hamming it up and making a fool out of themselves and can commit themselves to a few hours a week, love to maybe audition some people for this show because it looks like we're going to need to. Tony and I can't just handle this. So fun with two people. I mean, it's fun. We had a good time tonight, but
Yeah,
we had a good time hanging with y'all. But it's hard to actually be funny. I like to be funny, and it's hard to do that with just me and Tony. Gotta have that third
yeah.
person. It's what they call a three-way, I think.
Huh?
Think.
Yes.
Darn, I gave everybody, all the Transforama fans, a chance to get the help on a video, and none of them said shit.
Yeah.
They could have even had a help credit at the end of it or something.
Yeah.
Tony came up with a good idea. I'm just trying to still figure it out, wrap my head around it.
Space Age World's Fair.
62
Back.
seemed like the epitome of the space age years, for the I
Yeah, it's when the future, before the future just turned to shit.
guess it started with Kennedy. That kind of killed the vibe, I guess. I don't know. Even 63, you don't see the space age stuff you did in 62. So I don't know. Is the fins had disappeared by then.
Yeah.
Wendy said, I'm just not creative at all. Well, I just was hoping to get the Transforma people in on a video idea. I thought they might be like that. They don't. So, but then you know what? They'll be the first to complain when they see the video. Oh, you should have done it this way. Or
Yeah, there's a space needle. That's Nebville. He lives on. I think he lives on that thing, or like halfway up.
I think so. That's about the closest we ever got to the Jetsons, isn't it? That thing,
Yeah.
iPad. So isn't it the dark underworld under the Jetsons? The people that lived on the ground, was that the Flintstones?
Yeah. Yeah. And they weren't aware of each other, I don't
I
think.
don't think so because they were pretty high up. Uh, kind of weird looking, kind of depressing. Maybe it's under construction or something. Got nice elements. I like the accordion ceiling and the tiles on the wall, but yeah, I guess it's under construction, whatever it is.
And they
They
got
shouldn't show depressing things like that under construction on TV.
Well, no, it's like they look what we got going.
And what was that thing on that woman's head? I guess it's hair.
Oh, wait. Oh. Ooh, there you go. Electric power.
It's a skateboard ramp. Pretty cool.
I don't know. It's got a railing going down the bottom of it. And they're up on the roof.
Almost looks like a mosque or something.
Mm.
Cantilever design,
Yeah.
some sort. Confusing me with all this stuff. Like a monorail of some sort.
Monorail. Monorail.
Monorail. Well, you're creative, Wendy. You just not everybody speaks the Transforama kind of language, especially mine. I've got such a unique thing going with mine. I think that's why Tony and I can't see head to head on this punchline.
Mm.
She shouldn't stick her head out the window. Well, she's not, but she shouldn't. Boy, that looks clean. That's probably never been used before. No graffiti,
There
no
aren't
feces.
there aren't any what do I want to say? There's no diversity. There was no diversity in Seattle back then.
Boy, that's an old, talking a long time ago. It's like from the 80s or something. They'd never seen a people mover before. I wrote on one in Jacksonville. It was so stupid.
Mm.
It was basically like The Simpsons. It was basically a debacle.
Nice.
Probably a lot of money laundering and stuff. Uh, I did write on the one of the '50s ones from the Disneyland.
Oh yeah.
I actually got to ride in the front part with the glass
Oh,
dome.
cool.
Not the dome. The dome is where the driver is, but on the very front, you got to ride in that part. It was neat.
Oh yeah. Oh, there's the bell system. Communications. This is where they introduced all the new technology, the push button phones. And the I think they even demonstrated like call waiting and call for pulse code modulation. Look at that. And then
Did you ever see
whee.
this animation from the early '60s? I don't know if it had to do with the phone company some guy made some kind of animation in the early '60s, and it was full of colors and full of psychedelics. It was so neat looking. I don't remember what it was called or how to find it anymore, but it's influenced a little bit of my animation style,
Mm.
a little bit. It was so neat. I gotta find it now.
Yeah, it's always tough. You got to do a keyword search and just try
Yeah,
to.
what do you look for? 1962 animation. Then you get the Jetsons. I don't know. Maybe I'll find it again. If I find it, I'll let you know. Uh,
Expo lodging service.
guess that's the show. I don't call this a show. That's really stretching it.
I think it'll be pleasantly surprised when you go back and review it. I mean, we did talk about a lot of stuff.
Well, we talk about a lot of stuff. I watch this stuff trying to find moments. But yeah, I think it's worth going back. I want to go. I want to go over your idea, Tony, a little more. We can either sign off or go over it here.
All right, you wanna end the show?
I guess we can.
All right, Wendy, thanks for coming along, keeping us company. We really do appreciate it.
Yeah, and Laura, if you're still around,
Yeah. Everybody else?
I have to get together and do another watch party for the other movie or something. Um,
Ah. Yeah, that would be fun. That would be fun.
yeah, we'll do something
If
here
it would
too.
let us, if
Huh?
it would let us. Well, we could do this. That would be a pain in the butt.
What?
because you know well, no, you know how thingamabob. Um, I keep wanting to call it Skype, but Zoom. You know how Zoom handles movies anymore? It blacks them out because it's afraid of copyright.
Well, I can put the movie. It doesn't do that if it's on your hard drive. It only does it if it's on YouTube or something. At least that's what we experienced before.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, if
And
you
then we
actually
can
have the
just
movie on your computer, it doesn't seem to black it out,
and it
unless
would
they
have to be
change
on a
something
regular BabbleGab when I'm running the OBS, and then you would share your screen.
with sound.
Yeah.
Okay, well we can try that.
All
It
right.
just wouldn't be on a Transforama night, I guess. So there's no way I
Yeah,
can.
because at first, because well, at least for me, running sharing screen and running OBS for some reason it just will not play well together.
It's
Don't know
okay.
why.
I'll tell people. I'll tell people in Transforama if they want to. I'll do a little blog
Yeah. Yeah,
and get
yeah.
people over to the BabbleGab channel. We need people over there too. Well, anyway, thanks again for hanging out, everybody.
Ah,
I will take care. Talk to you next time.